Welcome into the third consecutive MLS Cup watch-along here on State of Soccer. My name is Josh Sperber, joined as always by Brian McDonough. And Brian, we've come a pretty long way since the first MLS Cup we did a couple of years ago, but it's also the first time it doesn't feature one of our hometown teams. Should we just stop the stream or should we still go anyway?
We got to go anyway, Josh, because despite the fact that it's not featuring one of our hometown teams or our favorite clubs here, this is still going to be one heck of a matchup here between the Columbus Crew and LAFC.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams coming on the really opposite poles of MLS history. Columbus Crew, one of the original clubs, and LAFC, really kind of part of the new social media wave of the MLS and a really different way of publicizing themselves. They had a show on ESPN Plus when they came out, and now they've been in each of the last two MLS Cup finals.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Josh. I mean, last season's MLS Cup final was spectacular. It's legendary, arguably the best. It probably is the best MLS Cup final or MLS match of all time, and a lot of publicity around this LAFC team. But before, I know we were talking just past couple of days about Columbus Crew and their MLS success and their history. It's quite interesting itself.
Yeah, as I mentioned, one of the first teams to join the MLS were the Columbus Crew. Champs most recently in 2020, kind of a forgotten championship that really happened to most of the champions in that COVID year. But MLS, the Columbus Crew has really kept themselves on top of the MLS over the last couple of years, despite a scare of having to leave their home stadium not too long ago.
Yeah, and a brand new stadium, a brand new look, brand new crest, or at least a couple of years old. This team's just kind of redefined themselves. But despite all that, with Columbus Crew, they've just had continual success. They're going after their third MLS Cup title. And I think a lot of people tend to forget they won in 2020. It's not too long ago.
Yeah, and a big part of that was Darlington Nagbe. He remained a fixture of that midfield for Columbus Crew, and one of my favorite matchups on each side of the pitch. You had Kellyn Acosta, who has been in the MVP finalist just about every year for the MLS on the other side. What do you like between those two U.S. standouts and two of the best midfielders that the MLS has ever seen?
Well, yeah, Josh, I'm glad you brought this up because, if we take a quick look here at the starting lineups in just 1 second, what you're going to see is some incredible matchups here. Kellyn Acosta, of course, in the midfield. Darlington Nagbe, who you could argue is one of the greatest MLS midfielders of all time. The success he's had, he's phenomenal. U.S. men's national team player, success with, a Gold Cup title not too long back. And, going head-to-head, this is going to be extremely exciting. You have Georgio Chiellini, LAFC, Italian defender, Murillo, of course. I mean, this back four for LAFC is staunch. And then you look at guys like Cucho, Rossi, up front for Columbus. It's going to be a clash of two brilliant teams here. I'm looking forward to these matchups.
Two great goalkeepers as well, you have to see, but some interesting changes in the attack up front. Diego Rossi suiting up against his former team. LAFC brought him to the MLS when they started their tenure back in 2021. Now he's back facing his former team. It's a different defense than he's facing with LAFC, but do you think that gives Columbus a little bit of advantage that there's a former guy who was wearing the black and gold just a few years ago?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a slight advantage, but I also think that, LAFC is going to know how to contain Rossi, but he's quite the talent. Went on loan to Fenerbahce in the Turkish league, came back stateside here. The Uruguayan, left winger. I mean, just, up top, he's dynamic. And I think that despite LAFC being familiar with him, he still has every bit of opportunity to take advantage of this defense here.
But when you look at attackers, there are two guys that really just have to jump off the page, one for each side, the only two members of each two sides on the best 11 for the MLS. We'll start with Denis Bouanga for LAFC. He had an absolutely spectacular year up front for the black and gold.
Yeah, Bouanga, I mean, he was an MVP finalist, fantastic. You can't say enough about this guy. And then you add Carlos Vela into the mix, defending MLS Cup champion here and just an absolute pro. Could be his last season with LAFC, which I know we're going to talk about. But those two guys up top, it's extremely dangerous. I'm really excited about Rossi, Cucho, Vela, Bouanga all going at it. I mean, the star power in these guys, these are some of the best attacking players in Major League Soccer.
And Cucho was the guy I was going to bring up for Columbus as well. Their best 11 member, a record-breaking international signing in the DP spot, and he has been everything Columbus could have possibly hoped.
Yeah, I mean, he was a Premier League player at Watford when Watford was up, and I mean, his experience speaks for itself. And he's come to Columbus and he's taking care of business. I think a lot of people tend to forget that this Columbus Crew team used to have Lucas Zelarayan on their team up front, and they were able to, despite him packing his bag and heading out of Columbus, still carry on and put together an incredible season here. And now they're in the MLS Cup Final. It's pretty impressive.
Zelarayan, one of the many players making the jump to Saudi Arabia over this past offseason. He was a standout at midfield, best 11 member just a year ago. And to have Columbus make such a big turnaround without one of their key players is just truly remarkable. When we look at Columbus and how they played this season, what really put them over the edge in what was maybe one of the more difficult runs to the final than we've seen in recent memory?
You know, Columbus was just consistent all season long. I think that, you know, as a Philadelphia, I'm a Philadelphia Union supporter, and Jim Curtin spoke about Columbus earlier this season in a defeat Columbus had against the Union early on. And it was just a matter of when would this team come alive? When would this club come alive and put it all together? And they did. And they came alive in a third place finish in the East. So I'm not saying they had a poor season, but their form has been fantastic. They've gotten through this MLS Cup playoffs, and it's guys like Darlington Nagbe. We talked about him, just kind of that captain-like presence, and he's had so much success with the Crew, with other clubs. It's just players like that, and Wilfred Nancy, the head coach, they've done just such an incredible job, if you ask me.
And we've talked about Nagbe as a leader through our time covering United States soccer. He's one of the vets that even in camps, when they're mostly trying to just drill the young guys and see who's next up when you get games on the biggest stage for the United States, Nagbe's still one of the vets that just seems to always be around United States training camp because he sets such a good example for the younger guys. And with a fairly young team in Columbus, he has certainly done the same thing.
I think Diego Valeri, the Portland Timbers Argentinian legend, said it best. He said he's going to tell his kid one day that he played with Darlington Nagbe. And that's high praise from Diego Valeri, who is one of the greatest players in MLS history. To say that about Nagbe, but Nagbe will go down as one of the greatest players in MLS history just based upon his resume. And this will be his fourth title, which is pretty astonishing. I don't know how many MLS players have won 4 MLS Cups if he can put this together today.
It certainly can't be too long of a list. I've got some ideas, but not something I want to say on air at the risk of me sounding very foolish. And it's also been quite a while since a team has gone back-to-back, and LAFC is searching to do that. But we were talking about another team that went back-to-back that also happens to be from Los Angeles about 10 or so years ago.
Yeah, the LA Galaxy, of course, did it during the Keane, Beckham, Landon Donovan years under Bruce Arena. And it's just so crazy, if any LAFC supporters are listening right now or LA Galaxy supporters, there definitely has been a paradigm. There's been a shift in LA when it comes to, let's say the dominant team in Los Angeles. It's LAFC these days. And it's just crazy to think 10 years ago we were talking about the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, I mean, 2011 through 2014, they won 3 of the 4 MLS Cups, including 2011 and 2012, both coming against the Houston Dynamo. And if LAFC wins this year, they would be that first team in 11 years to repeat a title, something that has been so difficult because it's rare even that we see a repeat finalist in the MLS, let alone a repeat champion. What does LAFC have to do to join that exclusive club?
Oh, they have to keep it together. The back four today against this dynamic attack with Rossi and Cucho up top for Columbus. If they can do that too, and they really need to control possession early on. I mean, you're playing in a hostile environment in Columbus. It's not an easy place to play. I mean, we're talking about, the history of Columbus. It's a proud MLS franchise. They've been around since '96. They're one of those original clubs. Now they have a beautiful brand new stadium. It's a couple years old. It's not going to be easy for LA, and I'm pretty sure Vegas odds are favoring Columbus going to this one.
To be honest, Vegas odds is not something that I look at quite often, but what I am looking at is just looking at how few repeat champions there have been. There was the Galaxy in 11 and 12. There was DC United in the first 2 years of the MLS. One of those, the first MLS Cup Final where they beat the Los Angeles Galaxy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the MLS has been around for almost 30 years now, and there have just been 2 repeat champions. So Vegas odds or not, it does seem like history might favor Columbus here, coming off of that big win over their new rival and the Supporter Shield winners in FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, and I'll open it up to any of the viewers right now. Guys, comment who you think will win this matchup, this MLS Cup. Can LAFC defend today? As Josh is saying, only the Galaxy and DC United early on have been able to win back-to-back MLS Cups. It's a challenging thing to do in this league. This league just has so much parity, right? And I think that's the main thing with Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and it's an LAFC team that is going to have to make this run back to the final without Gareth Bale, a guy who came on, played predominantly off the bench, as he was essentially using that LAFC end of the season as a tune-up for a run with Wales in the World Cup. But his impact off the bench last year was just immeasurable. It was, I don't think LAFC wins that match without Gareth Bale. You look at the starters on this team, who do you see coming on the bench for LAFC or Columbus Crew that can have that kind of late goal coming right off of the bench and into the score sheet kind of impact?
I mean, the only name that really jumps out to me is maybe a Christian Ramirez, right? I mean, he's the guy who I think off the bench for Columbus could make an immediate impact, given his kind of the trajectory of his career. And he's had a pretty decent season this year for Columbus, and he's be out there in a starting role for either one of these teams, given defensive situations and defensive matchups. But today he could be the guy off the bench for Columbus that could really make an impact.
Julian Gressel's another guy who he's just been around for so long, doing it on the MLS and the international stage, on the bench of Columbus Crew. But for LA, they have never been a team that goes too deep into their bench, except for last year when I believe they brought both Chiellini and Bale off the bench in the MLS Cup. And now they have Chiellini as a starter, and I think that is going to be a big matchup nightmare. It's going to be Chiellini leading that LAFC defense against that Columbus Crew front three that we talked about earlier, though they do have Cucho Hernández up front in a 3-4-2-1 against the more traditional 4-3-3 for LAFC on the other side.
I mean, anytime you have Chiellini, especially in a final, I mean, this guy has worlds of experience. I mean, he's been in European finals. He's been in Serie A Scudetto finals, Champions League. He's played in for years and years and years, and he's up there in age. However, all it takes is 90 minutes, and I think he's a guy you want on your team in an MLS Cup final for sure.
And as we talked about, there's been a lot of speculation about Carlos Vela potentially leaving LAFC after just a remarkable career as the inaugural talisman for this club. As you said, Chiellini is definitely getting up there in age. He is 39, oldest player who will take the field by about 4 years on either side. Do you think that if LAFC wins, especially, it's his last career match?
With him, you never know, because Chiellini is the type of guy who he just seems younger than he is. He might not look young, but the way he acts, his charisma on the field, his personality, I mean, he acts like he's 25, let alone 39, I think you said. It's pretty amazing to watch. And he's the guy who, starting off last season, he didn't get as many minutes. It's really been this year, especially now MLS Cup playoff time, and he's been just consistent with them. But don't forget, guys like Aaron Long are on the bench for LAFC. And a player like Aaron Long could really come in defensively. And I mean, I'm surefire would say that Aaron Long would start on 95% of these MLS teams. He just happens to have Chiellini, and Murillo starting over him. So,
yeah, I mean, Aaron Long has been a starter on the U.S. national team, and it's very rare you have a national team starter that doesn't start for a club team as well, no matter where it is. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Aaron Long defensively coming off the bench for LAFC, but that back duo of Jesus Murillo and Giorgio Chiellini were excellent in the Cup final last year, with Murillo getting a goal and an assist.
The goal and the assist, I know Gareth Bale had that goal, that dramatic goal, and they went to penalty shootouts, but you could argue that Murillo was the true MVP of that match, given how well he played defensively, offensively. He does it all for this LAFC team, one of the most talented defenders in Major League Soccer. Maxime Crepeau, I want to talk about too, Josh. The goalkeeper. We know last year he got hurt in that MLS Cup final. He had to rehab back to the point now where he's been a consistent starter. How good of a goalkeeper is he? He really is talented.
Yeah, I mean, there are two really good goalkeepers on LAFC, and Crepeau didn't. It took till late in the year for him to come back. 29 saves, 8 goals allowed in 11 appearances. It seems he's shaken off that difficult injury in the MLS Cup final last year. But kind of getting back to Murillo as well, I just remember that 83rd minute goal that he had, starting just a run of absolute chaos. Yeah. And it just really seemed to ratchet up the pace of the match quite a whole lot. And it seems like there are guys on both sides of the ball that can really make a difference. I know one for me is Malte Amundsen for Columbus Crew, a champion with New York City FC in 2021, and a huge offseason signing for the Crew before this season. Yeah,
Amundsen's really a great player. And anytime you can have a guy who's played in a cup final, that's massive too, right? So you look at this Columbus Crew squad, and you have a player like Amundsen, Rossi, Nagbe, who have all played in cup finals. I mean, that's 3 out of 11 right there. And then you look, obviously LAFC coming off of a LA or MLS Cup victory. However, just experience, I mean, you can't discredit that, right? So
yeah, sometimes when it comes to this final stage, experience can really be what tips you over the edge, but there are still guys. You have the Denis Bouangas, the Cucho Hernández, who, I mean, goal-wise, should make the biggest impact of the game. Those are the two big-time goal scorers for both of these sides, but they do not have a whole lot of experience. How do you expect them to be used as the game? Well, once the game starts.
You're saying Bouanga
and Cucho, how do you expect them to kind of buck off their lack of cup final experiences and get out to the front? Yeah,
we at the end of the day, these two guys are winners. I mean, they're fantastic. They're elite athletes. They're both MVP finalists, you could say, especially Bouanga this season. I don't know if that's going to have a major effect, the fact that they haven't played in a cup final. But when you get down to the wire and you get down to, I think it's more of the, dying minutes of a match, staying focused, knowing the level of heightened intensity. That's when it comes into play. And especially of course, in the first 5 to 10 minutes when they're kind of settling in here. But it looks like, Josh, we might have one of our first comments here from a viewer. Let's check in. Bunker to Bunker podcast. Shout out to Bunker to Bunker podcast here. Thank you, guys. Keep the comments rolling all match long as we, approach, Josh, the starting, the opening minutes of this match. It's 4:09 right now. So,
yeah, I think we're on the other side of the commercial break with the match starting. Certainly should get going relatively soon. But one thing that we want to hear in the comments is your predictions, scores, team winners, when the goal will be scored. We want to know everything because I'm still trying to figure all that out myself. Brian, you got any ideas for who you think's taking this one home?
Josh, my heart wants to say Columbus. However, I do see LAFC defending. I don't know what it is. I see them defending their title, and I think it's going to be a barn burner 3-2 victory for LAFC. I don't know if it's going to be quite as dramatic as last season. However, I do see LAFC winning this year, back-to-back MLS Cups. How about you?
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to be as dramatic as last year. If I would love that because I mean that was so much fun being on this watch along for last year's broadcast. But I mean, I'd love to say LAFC as well because I think that it really just things are kind of lining up for them right now. Yeah. You have a bunch of vets. You have a lot of players. You have 2 of the 3 goal scorers in last year's final. Chiellini starting in good form at 39. And you have a team that has rallied around Carlos Vela since its inception. And they're going to want to do everything they can to make him stay in that black and gold, where I'm sure he could go back to La Liga, back to the Premier League somewhere, or to some Power 5 club, or even just go back home to Mexico to finish his career. So with those kind of things, I kind of see the dominoes lining up a little bit for LAFC, but it's hard for me to pick them because it's so difficult to go back to back. But I do think it's going to be LAFC 2-1. I'm going to say Bouanga is going to grab a brace. That's going to be my really bold prediction of this cup final, as we are underway with the ball knocking off of a yellow head for the Columbus Crew. The Crew wearing their typical yellow and black jerseys, yellow tops, black shorts, yellow socks. LAFC in all black with names and golden numbers across the back of the shirt, as LAFC loses the ball in their own area, and looks like the first foul is going to be called. That is going to go on Jesus Maria, one of the key players in the final, as we mentioned last season, getting a little physical to get the foul called.
Physicality is much needed early on. Maria to show, frankly, who's boss, who's one of the more dominant defenders in MLS, and he's doing that early on here in the second minute.
And that's something that LAFC's defense, especially since getting Chiellini, who was well known as one of the most physical defenders in Serie A throughout his career, that is definitely something that he brings to the table for sure.
Oh, I mean, he's extremely physical, but he's a guy who's also respectful on the pitch. He's well respected on the pitch, and both of these, Murillo and Chiellini, are. In fact, this whole LAFC squad there's mutual respect here, Josh, at play today, but don't be surprised if it does get ugly, because these are two competing teams here.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams that want to win this very badly, and I'm sure both teams will give it their all. And since we're talking about Chiellini, I'm just going to put my absolute favorite random fact about sports, that Chiellini was the player Luis Suarez bit in the 2014 World Cup to get himself kicked out of the game. I know it really doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just, these are the random thoughts that pop into my head.
And what's so interesting is, Josh, I'm sure we'll talk about it today when we're talking about MLS dominance or potential dominance, is that now Luis Suarez very likely is coming to Major League Soccer next season. So who knows? They could square off again.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard for me to see anyone but Inter Miami in the final next year from the Western Conference. I mean, Matt, you have half of some of the best years of FC Barcelona coming to that squad already. Alba, Busquets, and of course Lionel Messi, but adding a lethal upfront combination of Suarez with Messi is going to be something dangerous.
It's insanely dangerous. It's really unbelievable. It's going to be a spectacle, and I think just soccer fans out there, U.S. stateside, football fans elsewhere, it's exciting. It's exciting for Major League Soccer, and it's exciting for those Barca fans especially.
And plenty of those Barca bandwagoners who, became Barca fans because of Messi, now getting to join the Inter Miami bandwagon possibly. But I mean, you gotta respect David Beckham for the job that he's done. I mean, everyone, you've seen guys like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Andrea Pirlo, David Villa. I mean, the list goes on and on of some of the European legends that come to the MLS. But I mean, with all the speculation of Messi coming to the United States, it was difficult for me to believe that an American team could make a swing that huge.
Yeah, it's always been talks. I always thought it was going to be Ronaldo. If I'm being real, I had a feeling that maybe Ronaldo would find himself stateside in Miami or LA or New York. But I never expected Lionel Messi. I never expected it.
I really think that Ronaldo, I mean, I'm not just because I'm very biased towards New York City FC, but I feel like Ronaldo going to New York would have been absolutely insane. Like, that just seems like it would have been a match made in heaven. And it sort of seems like with Messi's success at Inter, that seems to be a similar kind of match made in heaven. But I mean, the glitz and glamour of New York City, and Ronaldo, who's never afraid to shy away from the spotlight, seemed like it would have been a pretty good match that never really was.
Yeah, we can talk all day long about just legendary players and potentially coming to MLS. I know Neymar had a relationship early on with Red Bull, with New York Red Bulls. I thought that was a potential move for him as well. Not that the Red Bulls are that type of franchise to bring in players right now since the days of Henry, but you never know. So maybe we could see guys like that in the future, as we move forward.
All right, fun little question for the fans right there. Still about 5 minutes in without a single goal to be scored just yet. There have been a lot of high-profile signings really in the last 5-10 years. I mean, you could even go back to David Beckham. Go back as far as you guys want. When you're thinking of European legends in the MLS, which was your favorite transfer? I want to hear you guys in the comments, but Brian, you can get the floor on this one.
My favorite transfer of all time, for me, it has to be Thierry Henry. I just love the fact that he was in New York. I know he had this special relationship with New York City even prior to his time here. And I just think, Henry was just so dominant at Arsenal. At Barca, he was okay. But just coming to MLS, playing here for about, I think it was four seasons or so, and he really did play well. So I'd say Thierry Henry. But my favorite MLS European player of all time is Robbie Keane. I just, an LA Galaxy legend, Irish international. I just didn't expect him to have the impact he did, but he fits so well in that system. And Robbie Keane really was spectacular.
Yeah, you could really make an argument as good as guys like David Beckham, David Villa, whoever you may say were, you could really make an argument that Robbie Keane, in terms of just the sheer volume of goals that he scored, may have been the most successful European transfer to the MLS. It's certainly up to debate. David Beckham would be a really easy one to say. He, really changed the face of U.S. soccer when he came over to the LA Galaxy. But as a New Yorker, I'm going to have to say David Villa. I mean, he was just so great to the fans, to the players. Being around that clubhouse when I was working there back when he played, you didn't see a guy who had already won Champions Leagues, who had already won a World Cup, who had played alongside Messi with one of the most successful teams in football history. He was just another guy who was trying to win games and leave it all out on the pitch for his team. And to do that at his age and to be really not skip a beat, for me, had to be one of my favorite things to watch. And a close second was Zlatan, but really just for his first game with LAFC, because he had a couple goals in that match that still blow my mind to this day.
It blows my mind. Yeah. Although as good as those goals were, I'll always remember this goal that David Villa scored against the Philadelphia Union. I was there. I looked away for a second. I was actually with my good buddy. We were watching the match, his first ever soccer game. And I think he scored it from midfield, chipped Andre Blake of all players. And I'll always remember that. So guys, Josh, I'm going to give a little shout out right now to Vertical Athletics, our sponsor for today's stream. Special thanks to Vertical Athletics here. And, I just mentioned that I am a Philadelphia Union supporter, true and blue or true and gold, whatever you want to say. But I have today with me, Josh, this beautiful Vertical Athletics LAFC headband, which I might have to put on here in a couple minutes. I don't necessarily want to, but it's really comfortable. It's really nice. And I kind of want to give you guys an idea of this product here. But special thanks to Vertical Athletics for sponsoring this stream. Josh, early on, what are your thoughts so far?
I mean, it's been a pretty evenly played match so far. Columbus Crew has really been maintaining possession in the attacking third over the last bit. Murillo might have just gotten away with a penalty in the box there, but now the ball will be moving up down the right side for LAFC. It's been a really possession-based game, and as we have seen a lot at the beginning of MLS Cup Finals, it's been a pretty conservatively played match so far. No one's trying to do too much and lose the ball in a dangerous space, but you can already tell that these two teams are hungry.
Yeah, these two teams are hungry. I would say conservative is the correct word so far, but they're also just kind of, I see Rossi getting the crowd into it. I think the fans at least seem really into it. So let's see here. It looks like Columbus is trying to capitalize on this momentum. However, I might be, Josh, what minute are you at?
I'm in the 9th minute. The one problem with these broadcasts is that you're never going to have the times perfectly synced up. But on my TV, it is the 9th minute, and a beautiful long ball was sent down the right side to Matan, and a popped-up ball in the safe hands of the LFC keeper, Maxime Crepeau. But some good balls. That was the first really long, just cross-field play-switching kind of ball coming from the left side of the Cruz defense. Malte Amundsen making those long passes that he is well known for. and getting something going. But you haven't seen a whole lot of clear chances on net just yet. That, I think, seems to be the next step for these two guys. But make sure to keep active in the comments as well. We want to hear how you guys think the matches are going. I definitely want to be heckled. I don't know about Brian, but yeah, we welcome all of that.
I hope the Union fans aren't going to heckle me right now because I'm about to put this on, Josh. I want to showcase this headband here, and I mean it is, I like I said, 3-2. I think LAFC is going to come with the win. I'll take it off if I'm proven otherwise. I'm proved wrong here, but yeah, putting this on for the rest of the stream, Josh. So.
Yeah, a cooling headband from Vertical Athletics. And it looks great on Brian. Now I'm jealous he didn't give me one. But next year we'll make one of those headbands a part of my salary. What do you think?
Definitely. I'll ship you one beforehand. Depending on your choice next season, who knows? Maybe NYCFC will be back. I'd
love to see that. Malte Admundson getting around the goal to try and help Schulte, and a foul will call. Tillman raising his hand, taking the onus for it, as LAFC has been just as physical as advertised, but it's really gone on the wings so far. And two guys we haven't seen being involved is that key midfield matchup of Kellen Acosta and Darlington Nagbe.
Yeah, that they haven't really gotten involved yet early on, but it's still very early. So, I mean, we're here in the first, the 12th minute right now. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some action soon from those two guys.
And right now it's the defense having a kickabout for LAFC. Hollingshead sending it forward. A slide tackle ends up a foul on the crew. That is Rudy Camacho as LAFC quickly plays it up. Vela now has it on the right side. He'll send it back to Hollingshead. And now back to the defense. Murillo and Chiellini have been having a pass for a good portion of this game as Murillo's kick is deflected. And LAFC will cede the ball to the crew. And another matchup that we didn't talk about as much, Steve Cherundolo, Wilfred Nancy, two really well-respected coaches and players in international football going toe-to-toe on the sidelines.
I gotta give the nod to Steve Cherundolo of the two managers personally. I think what he's done at LAFC has been spectacular, but you still can't overshadow what Nancy's done this season. So two spectacular managers here, head to head. Josh, Steve Cherundolo, is he despite how much success he's had, do you think eventually you could see him moving over to a European club at some point in time?
I know that's something that we talked about before the match started, and I think it's definitely a possibility. I mean, people forget this is his third year of being a head coach. Before his time with the Lights of the USL, now LAFC's USL affiliate, he had only been an assistant coach, but he had done it in multiple levels. A guy who played 14 years of his career for Hanover in Germany, a well-respected Bundesliga side, and as an assistant or a head coach, he has had tremendous success. A guy who has such a great knack for soccer IQ, and someone just knows the game really well. LAFC, meanwhile, dispossessed in their own third, and the ball sent out of bounds. A throw-in for the Columbus Crew. Kellen Acosta well involved in that attack. Really his first sighting on the match for the black and gold.
There's just the star power of LAFC is overwhelming. Let's just put it that way. But of course, the Columbus Crew do have the home field advantage in this one. So I can see right now, Josh, it seems like the level of intensity, of course, I'm not listening to it here with this broadcast, but you can just see the looks on the players' faces, the fans, the tempo starting to really pick up in this one.
Nice tackle by Murillo, unable to shake his defender. Ball crossed in, knocks off the head of Hollingshead. Columbus retains possession. And the home advantage has not always been the tell-all when it comes to who's winning the title. I know New York FC not at their home stadium when they won. LAFC, though, won at home last season. Columbus Crew trying to repeat that feat.
It's exactly right. The home field advantage can only take you so far. You still have to deliver on the pitch. And in Columbus, they are the favorite for today. But like we said, that doesn't always translate onto the field, especially in a cup final.
Yeah, I mean, any metrics in a lot of ways you can really just cast aside when it comes to a stage like this. And I mean, so far it has been a short match, obviously, still inside the 15th minute by my count, but it has certainly been no shortage of intensity out here for each side, and that's something that we love to see in this final. But the Columbus Crew have absolutely dominated possession so far, 70-30.
Yep, absolutely dominating possession. And guys, let's hear from you. Let's hear from the viewers right now. Any thoughts so far early on in this match? What are your predictions? I know Josh and I went over our predictions in the pre-match show. He want to hear from you. We'll flash up your comments. Let's get a little interaction here because it always makes it a lot of fun on these watch-alongs.
And another fun way to interact is by following us on Twitter and Instagram, SOS Soccer TV on both of those accounts. And if you follow both State of Soccer and Vertical Athletic, you might have a chance to get a whole lot of prizes courtesy of our friends at Vertical Athletics. So big thanks to them. And you already saw one of those prizes that you can get. You can still see proudly displayed on Brian's head over there, that beautiful LAFC cooling headband from Vertical Athletic. But I believe we'll be announcing the results of that later on this match, Brian.
Josh, we'll be announcing those results at the half. Once again, it's a $10, $25, and $50 gift card to Vertical Athletics website. That is verticalathletics.com. And of course, we'll also be giving out an authentic MLS jersey of your choice. So if you entered before, you can still enter right now. We will be doing a random picker wheel at the half. I'm wearing the LAFC headband right now. And if you check out the description, there's a link to their website, and it's SOSTV for 10% off if you guys want to snag something over there on the website at Vertical Athletics.
And it looks like we have our first comments to really pick a side when you look at Etch's Sketch 11. First off, absolutely love that name. Second, he says Cucho Hernández going to win this cup for the Crew. Couple of W's, maybe alluding to an extra star on that Crew's logo. I know Etch's Sketch certainly thinks that's foreshadowing, but we will see. Cucho Hernández, though, certainly needs to play a big role for the Crew, and something that each defense has done well so far is keeping Bouanga and Cucho's involvement to a relative minimum.
It's cryptic, Josh. I think that 3 W's could be that third title potentially. So maybe Etch and Sketch 11 is telling the future or foreshadowing what is to come. For my prediction, I hope that's not correct, but who knows? And Cucho Hernández definitely has a shot. It's a fantastic player. Really is a fantastic player.
As we mentioned before, one of two players playing in today's match with an MLS Best 11 nod here in 2023, Bouanga, the other one. We are approaching the 18th minute, still scoreless in the MLS Cup, and the ball's being ping-ponged around the defense of the Columbus Crew.
Guys, make sure to hit like on this stream. If we want to get the stream out there to as many people as possible. Josh and I have a lot of fun with this, so we want as much interaction as possible. So right now, if you're watching, do us a favor, hit like. It's how the stream gets dispersed around YouTube. And Josh, I mean, this is our third year doing this, right? For anyone who just joined, and 2 dramatic MLS Cup finals the last 2 seasons. I mean, the odds of this one being as dramatic are low, but you never know with these Cup finals.
I mean, third time might be a charm for it not to go into extra time this year. Of course, NYCFC winning on PKs in 2021 and definitely not making me tear up. And then last year, another extra time, absolutely spectacular finish in LA that Brian doesn't really want to talk about.
You know, Josh, I honestly, Gareth Bale, it still haunts me to this day. So LAFC Union MLS Cup Final, of course, he scores that goal. And then, Josh, I go to the World Cup. I see the USMNT versus Wales, and he scores the penalty. And
I forgot about that.
He was haunting me. He was haunting me, right? So
he definitely knew you were at that World Cup match. That was vindictive, yeah.
But as you can see with the headband, I have a respect for LAFC, Western Conference team here. So no shame in me wearing this. But however, Josh, that just wasn't one of the best moments, if you ask me.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I had no dog in that fight. But that's beside the point.
Yes.
Still almost 20 minutes. Chiellini bringing the ball up just past midfield for the Columbus Crew, or sorry, for LAFC, slowing things down as the press begins. Diego Rossi has been quite active, as is Cucho Hernández, trying to force a mistake for LAFC with Crepeau sending a kick towards midfield.
We talked about Diego Rossi before this match, the former LAFC player, Fenerbahce loan player in the Turkish Superliga, now back here stateside with Columbus. So much talent, the young Uruguayan attacking player. I know we had a shout out for Cucho, but I really think he could be a game changer in this match as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets involved very early on.
Yeah, and we mentioned the familiarity that he had with LAFC, where he spent 2018 through 2022 with the LA side and scored a whole lot of goals for LAFC. 59 goals in 121 appearances, leaving just before that MLS Cup on loan to Fenerbahce, as you said, Brian, which is one.
Oh, it looks like we've lost Josh. I think Josh was going to say, which is one of the more famous Turkish Superliga clubs here. Let's see. We lost Josh, but we will keep this stream going. I'm sure he'll join back here momentarily right now. It looks like currently we are live and we are looking at the 21st minute of this cup final. Columbus is on a dangerous attack right now, and it's been pretty split so far. I think overall Columbus kind of has the nod in terms of possession currently, but it looks like Rossi is about to take a corner. And it's funny, Josh and I were just talking yesterday how our streams typically go just as planned. But here he comes, like a true professional. Josh, you good? I'm sending him back in.
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties there. Apologize, but as I always say,
honestly, and we say this the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah, it's live broadcast. Something good doesn't go wrong. That's all. That's what I always say. But sorry to be that person who made things go wrong. Should be good now. Luckily, the feed here wrapped out every time my television did as well. So sorry about the technical difficulties. 22nd minute here in the MLS Cup Final. Columbus Crew and LAFC looking for another win. It would be Columbus Crew's third, as was so rightly pointed out by Sketch 2011, and LAFC looking for not just its second ever MLS Cup title, but its second consecutive MLS title. For it would be the first time to do that since their fellow LA compatriots Galaxy in 2011 and 2012, with that legendary duo of Landon Donovan and David Beckham ended up winning 3 of 4 MLS Cups in the first 5 years of 20 plans. First big shot of the game, long from outside of the box. It's Cucho Hernández who narrowly missed the far side of the goal, eliciting a diving potential stop from Crepeau, who may have even got a piece of that one. That was a fantastic strike from Cucho.
Josh, anytime Cucho does something, I'm going to flash Etch and Sketches 11's comment here. We have another comment from, you can look for who it's from in the comment section. I won't flash that up here, but some support going to the crew. Good to have you.
Right now, in terms of fan bases, it's 2-0, but yeah, let's maybe change the YouTube username for the next 90 minutes. But anyway.
Josh, that's what makes these live streams so much fun, these watch-alongs.
Oh, yeah, even we don't know what's going to happen.
We never know what's going to happen. And
yeah.
I guess, give the fans the kind of indication what, your career, what you do. You're right now, you're in off season, but.
Yeah, I'm usually in baseball. I work for the Philadelphia Phillies single A affiliate in Clearwater. That season's going to start up in April once again. But until then, I'll be all on these soccer streams. Hopefully we'll have some more stuff coming up in the European soccer leagues over these next couple of months before I go back into my cave that they call spring training in February.
We have a big year of European football, obviously, coming up. Obviously, the Euros, and then we have, Copa America even here in this region of the world. The summer's going to be fantastic. And we, of course, have the Champions League, Premier League, everything mid-season right now. This is the best time of the year. We're starting to get a good idea of what's going on, Josh, with the Premier League and the standings, and things are shaping up. It's just so exciting to be a soccer fan right now.
I mean, all around the world, there's just so much more visibility when it comes to the game. Even the NWSL is on the rise on the women's side.
Yeah.
Couple of really interesting retirements in U.S. women's soccer that can shake things up there, and some new stars emerging for the U.S. women as well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of fun. It's a very fun time to be a soccer fan right now, for sure.
Great time to be a soccer fan. And like you said, I mean, even streams like this, which we're bringing you today, I don't remember, stuff like, these streams happening 10 years ago. Obviously, the technology is here now. But so we're really thankful that you guys are picking us today. Whoever's watching, make sure to hit like and comment what your thoughts are right now so far in this match, in the 26th minute of a 0-0 match between Columbus and LAFC.
And at a shot attempt from Carlos Vela around the middle that was blocked by the Crew defense. Weaving through is Christian Oliveira for LAFC, but he is dispossessed, and now Crew coming up on a breakaway. Going to the right side. It looks like Moreira, who has control, up to Farsi. Now is going to send it back.
Josh, what minute are you in currently? Just so I can.
26th.
26th? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Might not all be synced up, but we have it all together up here, promise. But if you are still a big soccer fan and enjoying being a soccer fan, make sure to head to verticalathletics.com. They have Major League Soccer, all kinds of collections in both sports and just general athletics. A lot of fun stuff that you can check out on their website. That's verticalathletics.com. And make sure to stay tuned for that big giveaway that we'll have later on this match. Another big shot. Is it in? No, it is not. Diego Rossi with a really big chance coming down that right side. Thought for a second he had the first goal of the match, but it went on the outside of the net from Rossi. A curling shot around Chiellini, but wide of the net. And that might have been the best chance we've seen thus far.
Best chance early on, Josh. That's the thing. You take your eyes off of a cup final for a split second, and things can change really quickly. And we almost saw that right there. But guys, if you're joining us, make sure to stick around for the giveaway at the half. I think some of you might be joining us right now for that. Josh just mentioned Vertical Athletics. So yeah, special thanks to them again.
I really appreciate our friends over at Vertical Athletics taking part in this giveaway, as Kellen Acosta was that was Yaboa coming down the left side. Had some nifty moves inside the box, but was unable to get clear past the LAFC defense.
Yeah, which is a tough thing to do, get past this back four of LAFC, especially Murillo and Chiellini.
Yeah, you got Ryan Hollingshead with a bit of a nutmeg over on that right side, but then Jesus Murillo was right there to shut the door on what would have been a spectacular individual move towards goal. And once again, it's the Crew taking the ball off the goal kick from Crepeau, and now they have it down the right side. Wider formation with 3 in the back, 4 in the midfield, and the Crew has really been sticking to that wide play so far this match.
I'm just feeling, Josh, I'm feeling a goal right now. I don't know who it's going to come from. I'm just feeling like right now, this first half, I just don't see it going 0-0 right into the second half. I just think something's going to happen here.
And it was almost something there. Diego Rossi streaking down that right side, and a fantastic last-ditch tackle by Jesus Murillo prevents a goal from Rossi and sends the ball to the corner, second corner of the match for LAFC. For the Columbus Crew.
Second corner of the match. Things are starting to heat up for the Crew. I'd like to see possession stats right now, Josh. Maybe I'll look that up on the side, but it's been pretty evenly split so far.
Last time we had checked, the Crew had a wide gap in possession as Rossi's corner is deflected away harmlessly by LAFC, and now back to the goalkeeper, Patrick Schulte. Schulte, the primary keeper for the Crew so far this season.
And Patrick Schulte is just such a good keeper, a solid keeper. Both Maxime Crepeau and Schulte in this one. Maybe players that might get overlooked, but part of the real reason that both these clubs are in this cup final to begin with.
Yeah, Schulte did not miss a match. 36 matches played for the Crew this season, over 100 saves, among the leaders in the MLS in that category, as he controls the ball inside his box with about 15 minutes remaining in the first half, barring extra time. Still 0-0. Brian thinks there's a goal coming up soon. We want to hear what you guys think. Make sure to let it be known in the comments. Should be known that about 2 minutes earlier than where we're at this now in last year's match was Kellen Acosta's first goal, mid-20s, where he opened the scoring for LAFC. And a foul is called, at the top of the box. Handball looks like on Tillman.
Will we see that again, Josh? Who knows? But, we were talking about Schulte, the goalkeeper for Columbus. News today that Zach Steffen might be coming back stateside to MLS, Josh. The Man City loanee at Middlesbrough might be coming back, and it looks like Colorado potentially, the old Crew goalkeeper. So that'd be interesting.
I remember seeing Zach Steffen saying the David Villa penalty at the end of one of my last seasons with New York City FC in one of the last matches at Citi Field before it is soon to become the permanent home of New York City FC. So. Steffen going back to Colorado, where Tim Howard played late in his career. Two legendary United States goalkeepers for the Rapids would be a pretty nice look.
Zach Steffen, who I actually went to high school with, Josh, believe it or not, for a couple of years. Transferred from my high school his junior year, but always had so much talent on the pitch, as you can imagine. So not surprised, and he'd be a great fit to come back to MLS. Still very young, too, as a goalkeeper at 28, I believe. So,
and it is official now that we'll have our first direct goal scoring chance. A penalty awarded as that Tim Tillman handball ruled just inside the box, and Cucho Hernández back to take the penalty for the Columbus Crew once the refs sort out the spacing. The goalkeeper, Maxime Crepeau, injured late in the match last season in the MLS Cup Finals for LAFC, now has the chance to make what would be a huge stop. Cucho Hernández going back on the penalty kick, looking for goal number 1 in the 32nd minute. And here's Cucho. He goes the other way. Crepeau guesses wrong, and it's 1-0 Columbus. And the stadium erupts in Ohio, and Etch-a-Sketch is looking pretty smart right now.
Etch-a-Sketch 11's looking pretty good right now. Stadium is erupting, Josh, and it's 1-0 Columbus early on. Pretty spot on to last year's Kelly and Acosta timeline with that goal, too, which you just called out.
I believe Acosta's was in the 27th minute, if I'm not mistaken, in last year. Not a penalty kick goal, but Cucho, the record-breaking signing for the Columbus Crew, may have just proved himself worth every single penny. First goal of the MLS Cup to Cucho Hernández in the 33rd minute of this MLS Cup match. Might see an extra minute on extra time. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be +1 or +2 in the 33rd with a 1-0 lead for the Columbus Crew.
Now, Josh, before the match, we talked a little bit about what it means to be a cup finalist, and LAFC returning for the second year in a row. Oh, Josh dropped out again. It's okay. What I was going to say is second year in a row, LAFC, of course, is in this MLS Cup Final, and this is when that experience kicks in, where LAFC needs to kind of come back together and really solidify themselves here, and this back four needs to come together here. Josh is back on the stream. Let's bring him in.
Well, sorry that my internet doesn't seem to be agreeing with me. It's not that I don't want to be in this watch-along with you, Brian. Believe me, I've been looking forward to this all month. But 1-0 Columbus still after that Cucho penalty, 24 years old, getting that first goal of the match.
Josh, what I was just saying when you dropped out a second ago was that this is where LAFC's experience in a cup final comes into play. Being down 1-0, I was saying I don't see this going scoreless in the first half. But I wouldn't be surprised if LAFC bounces back here. Their coach, Steve Cherundolo, definitely is known to be a motivator. So wouldn't be surprised.
And LAFC scoring most of their goals in the second half of last year's match in November of 2023. In fact, Kellen Acosta's 27th minute strike was the only first half goal for LAFC, really the only first half goal in that match. So certainly not over here with plenty of time, 10 minutes until the end of the first half without extra time. Do you think this is going to stay a Crew first half lead, or will it go into the second half a different way? Make sure to let yourself be known in the comments, as we have Justin Gutierrez coming in. Might not be able to spell LAFC right, but I think he's rooting for the black and gold today.
Justin Gutierrez, thank you for your comment. Los Angeles Football Club, yep, that is correct. Defending champions,
Yep.
The narrative of today. So thank you, Justin, for your comment. Anyone else out there want to combat Justin? Are there any Crew fans watching right now too? We've had now 2-1 in the comments section, it looks like, Josh. But thank you for the comment, Justin.
Yeah, Justin certainly repping his defending champion LAFC squad. Rain beginning to come down over in Columbus, Ohio, where the Crew lead LAFC 1-0 thanks to the Cucho Hernández penalty. And you really like that so far decisive goal coming from not just any DP, but a guy who the Crew spent more money than they've ever spent to get a guy like Cucho Hernández on their squad, as I think Missy Carr over here is a big Cucho Hernández fan.
I'm sure she is. How could you not be a Cucho Hernández fan if you're a Columbus Crew supporter? If you're an MLS fan, just a great player to have in the league, young, dynamic star with a Premier League experience. When he came over, Josh, it's guys like this who become the backbone of a league and just take it to the next level. So we're lucky to have him here in MLS.
Cucho Hernández, a $10 million transfer fee as a 23-year-old just a year ago. The seventh most expensive signing in MLS history, largest for the Columbus Crew.
Josh, I smell something. I don't know.
It could be another goal. The Crew faithful certainly getting loud. You see some yellow smoke coming on the field as a goal is scored by Columbus. 2-0 in the match, and LAFC behind big early in their quest to defend their cup. But Columbus Crew, some great link-up play coming from midfield here.
It is not looking good for LAFC right now, down 2-0 on the road. Josh, who was the goal scorer in this? Let's see if we can.
Yeboah making a beautiful run from the left side, taking a pass from midfield. Just an incredible searching ball. Cool as you like from Yeboah. He has been incredibly active so far for Columbus Crew, and they're up 2-0 in a rainy first half in Columbus.
What a ball. And he can do it on a rainy afternoon, evening. It's evening. It's 5. It's almost 5. It'll be an evening in second in Columbus. You can do it anywhere. What a ball. What a goal. 2-0 Columbus, 38th minute. Wow. That's all I can say. I'm shocked right now, honestly, Josh. I'm shocked.
And the Ghanaian midfielder in the regular season, 3 goals and 6 assists. Very well involved in the 36 matches he played for the Columbus Crew. Now 2-0. And this might be the most lopsided lead we have had on an MLS Cup watch-along here on State of Soccer. It's been a couple of really close matches, so I'm just waiting for LAFC to come back and miraculously send us in extra time again.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm expecting madness. This is MLS, and this is a State of Soccer watch-along. So it's not like this is going to, LAFC is going to go quietly into the night, if you ask me.
No, they're not a team that does that. But, I mean, something that I have noticed is certainly you look at the back line, you've seen some frustrations from Jesus Murillo. He's been yelling around at his teammates, and a lot of times it's looked like he's been the only guy back there for LAFC. Columbus just picking this black and gold defense apart.
It's just really shocking right now. A back four that is just so star-studded, and a back four that has a lot of experience, MLS Cup experience. I know we keep saying that. I'm shocked at the scoreline. So, Josh, You still going to stick with your early prediction, or what are you feeling?
I mean, my early prediction was 2-1 LAFC,
Yeah.
so I'm already wrong.
And I was 3-2, so I don't know.
You could still be right. You could still be right. Me, not so much. I mean, right now, I mean, if you're looking at the game by how it's going during this match, I really don't see Columbus Crew losing. They have just been on one right now. As you see another look at the Yeboah goal, just losing Hollingshead on a beautiful pass coming from midfield. A spectacular goal from the Columbus Crew, who the last time they won this MLS Cup Final back in 2020 against the Sounders, they won by a resounding scoreline of 3-0.
And that was, 2020 MLS Cup Final. That's kind of forgotten about. That 2020 season, COVID, MLS is back tournament. Strange year, but a title-winning year for Columbus. And like we said earlier before this match, this would be their third MLS Cup title if they can hold on here for the remainder.
And they have 5 minutes to hold on in the first half as the Crew throwing the ball in from the sidelines. LAFC really pushing the pressure up the middle, trying to get something going, and has it dispossessed does Carlos Vela, a guy who we have barely seen involved in the LAFC offense. But here comes the Crew coming down the far side. Rossi gets tripped up and dispossessed. No foul called. It's going back to Nagbe, who spins around, gets it back towards midfield, and out of the back line as the Crew reset.
Let us know in the comments, guys. Yes, just looking for some comments from you guys here. What are your thoughts right now heading into the end of the first half? Does LAFC have a chance to come back? What do you think? Comment on this video, hit like, make sure to hit like, support us here on the State of Soccer Watch Along, third year running MLS Cup Final.
Yeboah and Cucho, the two goal scorers. It is Yeboah who sends it in towards the middle, and now Nagbe tries to search for something towards the middle of the pitch. He escapes a defender, but is tackled. I think that was Kellen Acosta, who was going to send his national team teammate in Darlington Nagbe to the ground. No card will be shown, but a foul called and a free kick for Columbus.
Free kick for Columbus here. And if they can go up 3-0, Josh, I just don't see LAFC coming back on a team like Columbus. 2-0 possible, 3-0 certainly. It's very, very challenging.
Yeah, I mean, last year's Philadelphia Union are the only team that have scored 3 goals or more without winning the MLS Cup Final in the regular run of play. You have to go all the way back to 2003 when more than 3 goals were scored in an MLS Cup Final match. The Chicago Fire dropping a 4-2 match to the San Jose Earthquakes.
I think that San Jose Earthquakes had Landon Donovan back then, I believe.
Yeah, that must have been like his first year or two also.
Yeah.
Well, the 4 goals makes a lot more sense now. I think he's now second all-time behind a San Jose Earthquakes legend in Chris Wondolowski for the all-time MLS goal-scoring lead. 2-0 the score. Just about 3 minutes left in this first half. Columbus has really been in complete control of this game, and they've done it, Brian, by taking away that strong attacking group of LAFC.
They have. We haven't seen much from Carlos Vela. We haven't seen much from Bouanga yet. And, I got to be honest, even Bouanga in the semifinal struggled a little bit against Houston. Didn't finish on a couple of different chances that he had. So, yeah, I don't know, Josh. It's just not really looking good for LAFC right now. I don't think they're as dominant in that semifinal as you'd expect either.
Yeah, it's 2 very different starts that we've seen from the LAFC club. I know Brian wishes that this was the start they had against Philly last year, but I mean, it's looked like LAFC is just not playing with that same kind of energy that Columbus is.
Yeah, and I don't know if it has anything to do with the home field advantage, home pitch advantage here for Columbus. If it's the fact that it's rainy Ohio weather and Columbus is more accustomed to it, or if it's just that Columbus is the hotter club right now, right? This is a cup final, and it comes down to the wire. MLS Cup playoffs are crazy every year.
Helen Acosta getting a shot, deflecting off a couple of defenders into the sure hands of Patrick Schulte. Now it's a long ball off the punt. Can Cucho get to it first? He cannot. It'll go off of LAFC for a corner kick. First of the match for Columbus as Cucho continuing to try and pump up the crowd. Carlos Vela, though, with a really nice free kick that was scooped up by Schulte.
And what's interesting, Josh, LAFC had so much success last season, but they're cupless this season. I think that's been kind of the narrative. Losing in the CONCACAF Champions League final as well against Lyon.
And they're certainly on the way to making up for that loss as Rossi sends the short corner. Now going back into the midfield. And now Nagbe has it in the center. And that really has been big for Columbus. He is starting things up on the Columbus offense, getting the Nagbe center of the pitch.
Justin Gutierrez still supporting LAFC here. Let's go Los Angeles. Thank you, Justin, for the comment.
We're going to add another star to that uniform as Murillo has a ball out of bounds for another corner kick as Columbus has spent a wide majority of this game with the ball in their half. 3 minutes of extra time for Diego Rossi and the crew. It's Rossi back again to take the corner kick for Columbus.
Former LAFC player Diego Rossi. So it's interesting to see him back here. It's always interesting to me, Josh, how many of, a Diego Rossi, a Darlington Nagbe, these guys just on Columbus, they're just winners, right? I mean, that's just what it comes down to.
Well, both guys that have won something seemingly everywhere that they have been, and Rossi has been a part of some really great teams, helping LAFC to their first playoff run as part of that expansion side. And Nagbe, of course, he's got an MLS Cup with every single team he has played on in Major League Soccer, whether or not the crew can finish out this game out in front, as Aaron Long is now seen warming up on the sideline for LAFC. That might be a really good addition to that lineup in the second half as we approach the halftime mark.
A very physical player, Aaron Long, a fantastic defender, a player that I said before the match would start on most teams, just not right now on this LAFC squad, but a guy who I would give time to in this match with the direction it's heading right now.
And with LAFC behind by 2 goals, the speed of Long coming from the back line could prove helpful as well, as if he's warming up, we might see one of the wing backs come off and put 3 center backs in for LAFC to get that extra attacker that has been so beneficial for the Columbus crew.
Very, very possible. More attacking mindset for LA if they're going to get something going here in the second half. But Josh, the dying minutes looks like of the first half here. We have our giveaway coming up. But let's see if anything can happen here before we get to that.
It's at midfield with LAFC right now. Ryan Hollingshead controlling the ball just past the circle. Nice move coming up by Bouanga, cutting his way inside towards the middle of the pitch. Sends it to the far side. Now Acosta sending it in. Carlos Vela sends it towards the middle. No goal. But LAFC, with their best chance of the match, sprinting to the corner flag to try and keep this going in the first half.
All about momentum here, Josh. So you know for a fact that Cherundolo is going to be breaking that down at the half and really taking a look at what unraveled there against this Columbus Crew defense.
Vela on the corner kick. Oliveira was involved in the attack as well. This might be the last action of the first half, as right now the referee is just making sure that each team knows that likely it's going to be the last action of the first half. It's Vela in the corner, sends it towards the middle. The in-swinging ball is headed away. Still inside the box. Neither team in control just yet. And Acosta comes up with it, sending it back, and that will end the half as the ball is picked up by the referee. 2-0 is the score. Cucho on the penalty kick. Yeboah on a fantastic run forward, and a beautiful pass from the Columbus Crew has the home team cruising as they look for their 3rd MLS Cup championship. 2-0 the score. What a match this has been so far.
You made me say it, but the home team is cruising. I'm sorry.
Had to do it. Had to.
I had to do it, dude. I'm sorry. But
2-0
anyway,
is the score right now. We'll be back with some halftime analysis, maybe that giveaway. You'll have to stick around and watch for yourself. 2-0 Columbus. You're watching the MLS Cup watch along for the third consecutive year right here on State of Soccer.
one moment, Josh. I apologize. Some technical difficulties over here. But we will be right back here in a couple minutes for the half.
Just in time, it seems. We are back. Second half of the MLS Cup Final is about 15 minutes away, and the Columbus Crew are 45 minutes away from their third MLS Cup championship. And like Zap Edits seems to say, it's been all Crew in this first half. 2-0. Columbus has the lion's share of the possession so far. 2 goals, both inside the 30-minute mark for Columbus, has them cruising. Pun very much intended. Brian, what have you liked about Columbus's first half performance?
I mean, what's not there to like, Josh? Everything. I mean, it's just been a fantastic half for the Columbus Crew. Wilfred Nancy has to be ecstatic right now. And yeah, it's a Hollywood-like start. I hate to use that against LAFC for Columbus here, up 2-0. This is pun central right now, Josh. I just feel like these dad jokes are coming to me right now. But we're going to keep the fun going here in the halftime because we have the giveaway coming up. But before we get there, Josh, what are your thoughts right now?
Yeah, I mean, as I've said, it's been all Columbus. I mean, especially in Major League Soccer, in these playoff matches, the team that's going to control the possession is usually going to win. There are a couple teams that are an exception to that, but certainly not the case today. And that is the most eye-popping stat so far. 68.2 is the possession for Columbus Crew against LAFC, 31.8% of the possession. And Mario Hernandez asked, how are we 2 down with LAFC? The possession is part of the answer, but the other part is that we really didn't see Carlos Vela or Denis Bouanga involved until that last run for LAFC.
Yeah, and like I said, Trololo's gonna have to break down that last run, see exactly what went wrong on the crew end, excuse me. Momentum. It's all about momentum. LAFC closing out the half strong there with a goal chance, goal opportunity, and a corner kick. But really, it's just been a story of Columbus dominance in this first half with home field advantage.
Yeah, and dominance has certainly been the case. Double the amount of shot attempts as LAFC, 8-4 in favor of Columbus. 2 shots on goal, both have gone in for the Columbus Crew, and 5 corner kicks to LA's 1 that came in the extra time portion of the first half. First corner kick for LAFC came at around the 48th minute.
But Josh, I think it's time right now at the half for the much anticipated MLS Cup giveaway brought to you by Vertical Athletics. Guys, if you paid attention to State of Soccer's Instagram account, Twitter, YouTube, then you know that we are about to announce the winners of the Vertical Athletics giveaway, Josh. Unfortunately, Josh, I know you entered the competition, but it might have been a conflict of interest, so I kept you out of it.
I was afraid of that. I was ready for that NYCFC, little baby blue headband. That'd have been something.
So you have been kept out of the competition, but for anyone else watching right now in this giveaway, we are about to do it. It's about to get started. So best of luck to you. This is our first time doing a giveaway on State of Soccer in quite some time. So with that, let me share my screen. And guys, special thanks once again to Vertical Athletics for giving us this opportunity. And what we will be giving away today is a $10, $25, and $50 gift card to Vertical Athletics, a company that I'm wearing their headband right now, nice cooling headband, as well as a MLS authentic jersey of your choice. if you're lucky enough to win. So with that, Josh, here we go. Let's share my screen here.
I'm starting the drum roll on my end, just not very loud.
The anticipation is building. All right, let's do it. Josh, what do you say? $10 gift card first?
Yeah, let's do smallest to largest.
Let's do smallest to largest. So once again, guys, verticalathletics.com. They're the sponsor of today's giveaway of the match watch along. Check out their website. If you don't win today, you can always use SOSTV code at checkout for 10% off. And with that, we're going to go ahead and announce the winner of first the $10 gift card. Here we go, Josh. Let's do it.
And while we're waiting for that wheel to spin, just a big reminder, those headbands are under $10. You can get at least one with that $10 gift card. So really great value. We really appreciate you guys at Vertical Athletics for this giveaway.
And here we go. Wow, this is really taking a while to spin. I thought this was a shorter spin.
I mean, this is just part of the drama.
And if it lands on that vertical athletics portion, we will respin. There's 2 of them on there. It is going. Is this
It's still spinning.
I don't know what's happening, Josh. Let's put some sound to this too. All right.
Looks like the wheel's slowing down, though. We might have our first winner soon.
This is a long spin. And could it be? Is it Lucas? This is really taking a long time. This is excruciating. For the Vertical Athletics giveaway, $10 gift card. Lucas B5. Lucas B5. That is his handle on Instagram. Lucas, congratulations. I'm going to mark you down as the $10 winner for the gift card here, Vertical Athletics. Lucas B5. It's funny, Josh. Last time I did a giveaway, a gentleman in Ukraine won it a couple of years back, and I had to send the winnings to him in Ukraine. It actually ended up being more than the prize.
Oh man!
But luckily, this is just a gift card, and we have a couple more to give out here. But this is really generous from Vertical Athletics, and you guys just saw that spin took quite some time building up the drama. But now we're going to go ahead for the $25 gift card. Let's spin it and see what happens.
All right. One more big spin. Big shout out again to our friends at Vertical Athletics. Just remember, whether you win those gift cards or not, go to verticalathletics.com. They've got all sorts of workout merchandise for different teams in the MLB, MLS, and just some random really cool designs that they got. Definitely go check those out. I know I'm getting some Vertical Athletics swag as soon as this ends.
This is the $10 giveaway for Vertical Athletics, and it's odd, Josh. I don't know why the winner, the spinning wheel, is taking so long, but it just adds to the drama here.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's more the suspense, but also we've clearly had fantastic luck with internet connection throughout this entire MLS Cup. But that happens sometimes.
It's par for the course on these streams.
Yeah.
But either way, a good amount of entrance into this one as the spinner starts slowing down. $25 gift card on the line. If it lands on Vertical Athletics, we have to respin. It looks like it might. Or will be Mike D. It looks like we're going to have to respin. But there's Vertical Athletics logo, guys. Let's respin. Another chance for $25. Here it goes.
As soon as I saw how slow it takes to spin, I knew it was going to land on Vertical Athletics at least once.
If it does it again, we might end up running a little bit into the second half here because.
Random question though: how many times does it have to land on Vertical Athletics for me to get the prize?
If it lands 3 times, Josh, I'll send you a headband. But guys, if you're an MLB fan, Josh, I know you know this, but this is the classic Bryce Harper Philly Fanatic headband that Vertical Athletics made famous. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that might have been my favorite piece of gear for like in the entire baseball season, and I'm not just saying that because I work for the Phillies. One of the I remember seeing that on live TV and being like, yeah, Bryce Harper is just the most Philly dude that there ever has been. And
Josh, Lucas B5 might win again.
Oh my goodness.
It looks like it's Lucas B5 again. That's $35 now for Lucas B5. I know most giveaways, they might, if you win, you might not have a chance. But guys, this is the value of the State of Soccer giveaways. If you enter these giveaways, you can really make out well. So Lucas right now is up to $35. If he wins again, $85 worth of gift cards. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, okay, so let's spin it a third time, Josh.
Hope you can send that all in one gift card there, Brian.
I don't know.
While we're waiting for these spin, they just announced the ATT 5G goal of the year, one that came not too long ago. Solo goal by the MLS MVP, Luciano Acosta, whose FC Cincinnati side lost in the conference finals to Columbus Crew. 3-2 was the final score in that one, as we are approaching the start of the second half shortly. Still 2-0 in favor of Columbus. Cucho and Yaboa, the 2 goal scorers for the 2020 MLS Cup champs.
Well, Josh, it looks like Lucas B5 won't win a third time in a row. As we keep moving, could it be for $50 gift card to Vertical Athletics? One of the bigger prizes. It looks like Kristen M has won.
All right.
Kristen
Different
M.
winner.
$50 gift card to Vertical Athletics. It's a lot of merchandise, Josh, from Vertical Athletics. Like I said before, I'm wearing one right now. They have all different designs. They have cooling towels. They have cooling headbands. Here's another design that I really like, actually, this camouflage one. But Josh, now we have the last giveaway. The anticipation.
This might be the one that everyone's been waiting for right here.
Quite possibly. And, if Lucas wins or Kristen wins, they can pair up this jersey with a Vertical Athletics headband. That would be pretty cool because they do have a deal with all the MLS clubs here. But the last giveaway, Josh, for the authentic MLS jersey, who is going to win? Drum roll, please, without the drum roll sound effect.
And guys, if you want to give suggestions or take bets on the comments of who that jersey is going to be, I know my money's on Messi, which we'd probably have at just about even money. Make sure to put that aside in the comments. And of course, if you want to get some of this cooling merch over at Vertical Athletics, go to verticalathletics.com. I just saw on their website that you get 10% off of your first order right now, and that's without that State of Soccer discount code, Brian.
With it or without it?
Yeah. Well, no, without it, I'm saying you don't need the discount code to get the 10% off, but we have that. I think what was the discount code again?
Well, wait, we might have.
Well, we'll say that after the winner.
Simone Zapata with the win. It looks like Simone. Congratulations, you are the winner of the authentic MLS kit. Simone Zapata. Once again, congratulations. Really, really fantastic. I mean, that was a lot of fun, Josh. I thought, I kind of like how long the spinner took because it added a lot more drama, in my opinion. So,
oh, for sure. Yeah. Luckily, I'm getting paid by the hour. No, I'm kidding. But no, really appreciate all of you guys for entering our giveaway. Congrats to the four winners. Four winners.
Lucas with the $10, $25, Kristen with the $50, and Simone Sabata with the win on the jersey, brought to you by Vertical Athletics.
Some great giveaways. We'll have more giveaways to come in later streams. Of course, you can use that State of Soccer special discount code, which is
SOSTV at checkout. Guys, the link is in the description if you want to check out Vertical Athletics website and get 10% off on this. LA, we have Columbus Crew, whatever club you support, or if you're an MLB fan too. There's tons of different teams to choose from here.
I know we're biased towards the Phillies here on State of Soccer. We can have more of that discussion coming up after the first half as we are underway. LAFC with the with the possession to start off the second half here at Lower.com Field in Columbus, Ohio. Cucho Hernández in the 33rd. Yeboah 4 minutes later. 2 goals in the first half for the Columbus Crew as they now control the ball in their own half. And now here comes the Crew. Diego Rossi bringing it down the right side. He's dispossessed. Chiellini among the quartet of LAFC defenders as they now bring it up. A much more aggressive LAFC side in this second half, but ball going out of bounds off a deflection from the Columbus Crew. Oliveira places the ball on the sideline, and it's actually Crew who will take the throw-in. Still 2-0. Crew. Yeboah scored the most recent goal in the first of his playoff career. And the 37th minute throws it in, and he's dispossessed. Here comes Vela. Had a very quiet first half, trying to make some noise in a one-on-one matchup, but he sends it backwards. Acosta, little two-man game. And now the LAFC defense takes control with Murillo at the center. Hollingshead remaining in the second half. Starting lineups for each side remain on the field of play in the second half. Here's Hernandez, one-on-one, long-distance shot right at Crepeau, who bounces it out of the box. Columbus trying to get it back, sliding tackle, no foul call, across the face of the net, and it's punched away by the foot of Georgio Chiellini. A really frantic attack for the Columbus Crew, and a foul called at midfield to stop possession. Malte Amundsen, 2021 Cup winner with NYCFC, getting the foul.
Josh, not what I expected. I thought LAFC would come out of the gates here in the second half with a lot of momentum, and it's quite the opposite right now, it looks like.
But some great defense from LAFC. There's a cross-of-face pass sent forward by, I believe it was Moreira of the Columbus Crew, that was taken away on a sliding tackle by Murillo. And I think Palacios was in the vicinity as well. But some great defense from LAFC after a furious attack. Columbus certainly showing no signs of slowing down. And remember, folks, we want to hear your guys' comments on the match. Seems like we're pretty evenly split between LAFC and the Columbus Crew at this point. But we want to hear who your favorite team in MLS is. If it's not one of the two in the MLS Cup Final right now, make sure to let us know in the comments as we're about 3 minutes in to the first half. LAFC with the ball inside the 18-yard box of Columbus. It's taken out. Hernandez takes it out of bounds. A great sliding tackle by Vela, and the play will not be stopped. Nagbe sending it forward, slicing through the defense. A chance, chips over the goalie, and a miraculous header. Oh, my goodness. Crepeau was beaten on the line, but a great header by, I believe, Palacios to stop a goal for the Columbus Crew to maybe have put this game out of reach. And a card is given to Carlos Vela for his midfield tackle on Cucho Hernández. It'll be a yellow card and the first card of the match for either side.
And that, Josh, could be the stop of the match if LAFC is able to claw back into this one. But it looks like a player is down right now currently, Josh.
Yeah, it was Yeboah again who made a really nice run, and Palacios with a fantastic header to stop the goal off a save from Crepeau, knocked off of his forearm before it was headed out of bounds by Palacios. Vela with the yellow card, first of the match. Rossi now back for the corner. Injury all seems to be sorted as Moreira, who was the player down, dapping up Vela to make sure everything is all good. 7th corner kick of the match for Columbus. Here's Diego Rossi with the in-swinger, knocked away by LAFC's back line. Vela has been a lot more involved on defense in the second half to try and get himself involved and get some possession of the ball a bit more, because you rarely saw him touch it in the first.
It's what you expect out of the captain, Josh. So, I mean, Vela's going to have to really step up in the second half. Is it the same Carlos Vela when he came over first for LAFC? Probably not. No, he's getting up there in age, but he still has the ability, the tenacity, and I think in the second half we might see him do something special. I wouldn't be surprised out of Carlos Vela.
Vela, the 34-year-old, second oldest player on LAFC's roster behind just Georgio Chiellini. Josh Williams, defender on Columbus Crew, checking in at 35. So two defenders older than Vela, but Vela, despite being one of the most celebrated and recognizable names in Major League Soccer, also one of the oldest players in the league, as we mentioned, guy who has had success for whatever team that he has worn the kit for.
Has had success. I mean, you remember his scoring prowess at Real Sociedad in La Liga. Yeah, I mean, there was a chance that even a couple of years back in his MVP season, Vela was possibly going to go to Barcelona. That was a rumor. He's just been fantastic with LAFC, obviously. So can't really say enough good things about him.
Cucho Hernández dispossessed. Murillo jawing with him on the sideline, just pushes him out of bounds and gets him off the ball. Hernández wanted a foul called. It looks like the ref is going to come over to give Murillo at least a warning, but it should just be a corner kick as Cucho and Murillo both getting tangled up close to that box. No foul called. Doesn't seem like a warning was issued as Crepeau will now try and bring the ball out for LAFC. Sends it up to midfield to Vela, who quickly has it taken away.
You have Sean McIntyre with Go LAFC. Another comment. Thanks, Sean, for your support here.
Maybe it's a popular name, but I feel like he's been on a couple of these streams before. So for the returners especially, thank you guys for continuing to tune in. If you've been here before, if you're new to these MLS Cup watch-alongs, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us during the final match of the Major League Soccer season. And, of course, we'll have some European and national team soccer coming up later on this winter. We'll keep you guys posted on that. Kellen Acosta getting called for a foul on Diego Rossi. So not former teammates in LAFC, though.
I feel like Sean McIntyre has been on before. There's a couple of these names. Even Missy Carr. Some of these names seem familiar. I could be wrong.
I'm wrong all the time. So, I mean, who knows? But we appreciate you guys. All jokes aside, we appreciate you guys tuning in. And, of course, we appreciate our sponsor, Vertical Athletics, for those great gift cards on the giveaway. And, of course, you can go to the link in our bio to shop some more of their merchandise, like I definitely did during halftime, and we'll do more after the game when I've got more time. But Darlington Nagbe going down to the floor. Tim Tillman called for the foul, LAFC's number 11, as we might have our first substitution of the match. I can't exactly see who it is, and it looks like we're going to get our first substitution for the Columbus Crew. No, actually, that was just Mohamed Farsi who was standing on the sideline waiting to be called. So I just misread the situation. Sorry, folks. But the ball deep in Columbus Crew's offensive territory, like it stayed for most of the first half. Second half, we've seen more of the same, but, I mean, it's still pretty clear to say that LAFC is not going to go down without a fight in their second consecutive MLS Cup final.
Just the narrative, the idea of LAFC not scoring a goal in this Cup final just doesn't seem realistic to me. So I do expect LAFC to score a goal here. If you know, it just doesn't seem right if they don't. They're just too good. So I could be wrong, though. We'll see.
Former member of LAFC, Diego Rossi, currently behind the corner flag. It's a short corner forward. That is the 7th for the Columbus Crew. Shot sent in, scooped up by Crepeau. Very easy save for the LAFC keeper out of Canada. And now here's a chance for LAFC, but a fantastic slide tackle, taking the ball off of Oliveira, and it's Schulte going to ground, but the flag is up. Oliveira will be flagged offsides in what looked like a spectacular defensive play that prevented a goal. But Christian Oliveira getting active and getting himself around the Columbus Crew defense, and the replay just showed he was offside by a couple of steps, despite a fantastic slide tackle by Malte Amundsen to take the ball off his foot and stop a one-on-one with a goalkeeper.
And if it's not Vela, if it's not Bouanga, it has to be Oliveira. They need someone right now to come up here big for LAFC.
And LAFC, 2 yellow cards in this second half. Tillman and Vela, the culprits on that side. And it just seems like things are really looking up more for the Crew as Mohamed Farsi dries off the ball for a throw-in parallel to the line of the 18-yard box.
Ryan Hayslip with some strong words here in the comment. Keep it classy, guys. Keep it classy in the comments. I know we have some frustrated LAFC supporters, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a final without some kind of contentious talk between the two teams. I mean, I'm from New York. You're from Philly. I think our home fan bases are about the most guilty of that on the entire planet.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Some commotion, but no foul call. Oh, yeah.
Northeast attitude. It's that, the tough Northeast. But I know the LAFC supporters can be tough. They really can be.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, LA especially, of all the California fan bases, they've got to be, no matter what sport, they've got to be one of the loudest.
For sure.
I'm sure LA celebrating sport that isn't soccer after the massive Shohei Ohtani signing as Chiellini goes to ground to deflect a ball in from the Crew. Now here's a chance for LAFC. Long ball ahead, searching up the middle, and it's found someone. Vela right into the awaiting arms of Patrick Schulte. Easy save for the Crew keeper. And it'll be a goal kick, but a fantastic ball by Hollingshead off the head of a Crew defender onto the foot of Vela, but a shot not too well placed.
Not too well placed, and you expect Carlos Vela to do better in the final third, but still early on here in the second half. If you can keep it within 2, they still have a shot. Yeah,
and those first touch shots, even for Carlos Vela, not as easy as some might make it look on now. What's it? EA Sports FC. It's not FIFA anymore.
EAFC, yeah, FC 24. You're right.
It's still FIFA. I don't care.
Well, Josh, bear with me. I'll be back in 1 minute, guys. Sometimes these streams, be right back.
Yeah, you forget that Brian has to be the producer as well as my broadcast partner here. Really appreciate the work he has done, helping to grow the State of Soccer channel as well and giving plenty of opportunities for you guys to enjoy high-quality soccer comment. But, of course, the main thing we want to hear about is you guys. We've seen from a couple of LAFC fans that they don't love how the match is going. I'm sure the Columbus Crew fans watching certainly do. We want to hear all about it in the comments right now. Any kind of predictions for the second half, which we have eclipsed about 15 minutes of it here in the 58th minute by my mark. 2-0 the lead for Columbus Crew as a foul called on a slide tackle. Rossi goes down. The Crew certainly want a card, and both teams crowding the referee right now with Rossi down on the ground. Just a simple shake of the finger by the ref. Rossi will not be complimented with a foul after being taken down on a slide tackle at about midfield. And the aggression, the urgency of LAFC certainly starting to show around this 60th minute. And I think it looks pretty clear. Like to see a foul not called, but that was Timothy Tillman colliding with Diego Rossi. Seemed to me like he was going for the ball, so I think the refs made a right idea not giving a second yellow to Tim Tillman and keeping this match at even strength in the MLS Cup Final. 2-0 the score. Columbus leads. Cucho and Yeboah getting the goals back in the first half as we have our first substitution. It will be Timothy Tillman. He will be exiting the match. Mateus Bogas, forgive me for probably butchering that pronunciation, but Mateus Bogas coming on for LAFC. The 22-year-old from Poland played in 32 matches in the regular season, 11 of them coming off the bench, 3 goals and 7 assists for the Polish international. It's Crew maintaining control in this second half, 2-0 the score, a couple seconds away from the 60th minute. here in the MLS Cup Final as we welcome back our fearless leader, Brian McLaughlin.
What did I miss, Josh? It's good to be back.
Not too much. I said a bunch of I made a lot of curse words when talking. No, I'm just kidding. Still 2-0 Columbus Crew in the lead. Almost missed a yellow card, and he missed a substitution. But it has been some possession-heavy football as LAFC is looking to push on forward into what is now a stacked 18-yard box. Columbus Crew keeping everyone outside of it right now on a pretty high line. The entire Crew defense staying above that 18-yard line right now.
And Josh, while you're commenting here, I'm going to take a look at Twitter and maybe read some of the comments from the fans, just kind of get an idea of what's the general feeling, the atmosphere out there right now.
And another yellow card. This might be the first one issued to the Columbus Crew. Malte Amundsen looks like he was shown the yellow. And that is the first card to Columbus. And it seemed pretty clear. Legs getting tangled up between Amundsen and Vela there, leading to Crew possession. So now with Tillman's substitution, he was replaced by Mateus Bogas a couple minutes ago. And there are now one active player with a yellow card with Tillman on the bench. Vela with a yellow for LA and Amundsen with a yellow for the Crew, but they lead it 2-0. However, LAFC has a chance to threaten. Free kick with a wall set up right in front of the 18-yard box, and a free kick artist, Carlos Vela, going behind it. He doesn't go for goal, chips a pass down the side, sent toward the Denis Bouanga over the net. And it's a goal kick and a missed chance for Denis Bouanga in his first shot of the match.
And Josh, it looks like just as I'm saying this, we have a couple comments here. It looks like on Twitter, just a lot of people talking about how this isn't it's a flat performance from LAFC. They haven't seen such a flat performance since Seattle in the Cup in 2017. I expected MLS Cup Final to be entertaining. I did not expect it to be this one-sided. So a lot of surprise out there from especially LAFC supporters.
And Seattle was the opponents of the Columbus Crew back in 2020, losing 3-0 for the Crew's last MLS Cup championship in 2017. Toronto's first MLS Cup championship, they lost 2-0 north of the border to Toronto FC. I remember being at the first round match, I believe. I think it was NYCFC's first ever playoff appearance. And they got absolutely destroyed by Toronto FC 5-0 en route to their first MLS Cup title. Sebastian Giovinco, Michael Bradley, some of the legendary names on that Toronto side that just put a clinic over at Yankee Stadium.
What did you... Okay, we have a comment.
We got someone Lorenzo firing back. So Ryan Hayslip with the inciting comment, which we won't repeat, and our friend Lorenzo reminding Ryan who the defending champs are, despite the fact that LAFC is down 2-0 in the 63rd minute.
Get your popcorn ready, Josh. It's popping off in the comments. Let's hear a little bit more. I like what I see. Of course, we can't share it all, but
yeah, I mean, I know you and me going to games in New York and Philly have probably heard and maybe even said a lot worse. I'm not going to comment further on that, but yeah, we want to keep it clean. This is a family environment here on State of Soccer, so we want to keep it clean.
It's a family environment on the stream, but in the comments, you guys can. We just won't share. We just won't share.
We have a little more leeway in the comments, So.
If you say anything too outrageous, I think there's actually measures in place on YouTube, so it will be blocked.
Yeah. All jokes aside, be nice. That's all we want. Yaboa sending a cross in towards the middle right to Ilie Sanchez, who sends it out of bounds. Throw in going to Columbus.
Josh, I was looking back at some of the first half stats. I know we're well into the second half here, but expected goals, 1.57 to 0.27, 68%, 32%. It really has been dominant for Columbus so far. Yeah,
I mean, you have under half a goal for a team is truly a truly remarkable feat. It just shows it's again the possession advantage. I think has been a big part of that for Columbus. They are out controlling the LAFC squad almost 64-36. And that has been a big reason that, really LAFC just hasn't had the chances.
It's been a huge reason why, to your exact point, they haven't had the chances, and it's frustrating for this LAFC team here.
And I mean, you talk about I think you said someone on Twitter called it a flat performance by LAFC, and that might be part of it. It certainly has not been the best we've seen from LAFC, as Bouanga called for a foul, frustrated, trying to get himself an open chance. But, whether or not you want to call LAFC flat, I don't think that has been the main impetus behind Columbus's dominance. It's just they have been firing on all cylinders. Everything they have done, their formation has stayed tight. You just don't see a lot of holes in their game to this point.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Josh, they had a game plan and they've been executing it. So Wilfred Nancy, hats off to him. I'm not saying anything bad about Trundle. I still think he's a great manager, but it's a cup final, and they just seem to have the edge right now. That little edge of adrenaline is in their favor.
And I mean, with Chirundle, I mean, sure, you guys in the comments have some thoughts on this as well. But for me, with a guy of his soccer mind, I certainly expected a lot more second half adjustments. And we really just haven't seen a different game plan. We haven't seen much different from LAFC in the second half, even though they were starting at 2-0. As a foul called, it looks like we might have another yellow card as Rossi was taken to the ground once again.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything yet, but it's still early in the second half. I mean, there still is some time. I keep saying there's more time, but every time I say that, time is running out. So, although there might be, it's still, we could still see some changes. So I wouldn't be surprised if Trundle switches it up here some way, somehow.
I haven't seen too many substitutions, as there is the foul. Should be a yellow card there, and that will be shown. Ilie Sanchez taking down Darlington Nagbe. That's the third yellow card issued to LAFC, second to one of their midfielders.
And Josh, right now I'm trying to get more of a couple samples from Twitter to show and see, how the LAFC supporters are feeling versus Columbus.
Yeah, I'm sure they can't be happy about Sanchez just in open field. Sanchez just kind of nicking the ankle of Darlington Nagbe there. Not sure if he got enough of it. Might have been a little bit of embellishment from Nagbe, but Sanchez hit with the yellow card.
For anyone joining right now, if you're joining the stream, this is State of Soccer. Hit like, make sure to subscribe. We do this every year. We do tons of watch-alongs. We were doing it for the World Cup. We're back for MLS Cup Final. We'll be here, Josh, I'm sure, for some of these massive matches coming up in European football and Copa America and the Euros. So hit like.
Sure.
Be sure to subscribe.
Yeah, the Euros is certainly going to be an interesting tournament this year. Coming up this summer. Stay tuned for our coverage that we have on that. Euros, Copa America coming up. Another one of the years, alternating every two, usually with the World Cup. Even if the World Cup seemed to be just yesterday.
God, I mean, I was just sharing clips from my experience there a year ago. It's just outrageous to me. Is 2023 just seem like the quickest year, or is it just me?
No, it's not just you, man.
Is it the fact that we're just getting older?
Maybe. Like, I'm 30 now, so I really feel like an old person. It seemed like a really quick year, and certainly seemed like the MLS season has come and gone. I mean, I blinked and I got that message from you saying, hey, we're doing the MLS Cup again this year on State of Soccer. So, time really does fly in a long season, as a long shot attempt, I believe, by Cal Acosta goes into the seats behind the goal. And it was actually, I think that might have deflected off Moreira. He's getting showed on the camera right now, but that ball is just kind of ping-ponging around in the midfield. Some really tough defense coming from both sides.
But time flies, Josh, especially when you're having fun. I know on this channel, we've been to Argentina. We were at the World Cup. Some good vlogs going. And you yourself, you've been a minor league baseball broadcaster down in Florida. So
yeah, I mean, this is, I think, like the fourth different state or country I've done one of these watch-alongs from.
You're in Australia
yeah.
too, right? Yeah.
I was in Australia for the World Cup and the MLS Cup Final last year. I started doing this in Indiana, and that might be a penalty. Well, the play keeps going on as a Columbus attacker is down after running into Chiellini, but no call, no penalty will be called, and LAFC will come up. Hindsight, I think that's the right call. He really just, didn't really see the guy in front of him and just kept running forward. Just one of those incidental collisions.
Certainly probably would have put the match to bed, Josh, if that had been a penalty.
And if you don't remember, 33rd minute, Cucho Hernández, first shot on goal of the match for Columbus, made Crepeau go the other way and stuck one into the left corner. Here's Bouanga, centering pass, deflected, and Hollingshead can't save it from going out of bounds. Bouanga with a really nice idea for a pass, but it just missed the rest of the black jerseys. He's being set up on the left wing. And Bouanga nearly found Ilie Sanchez in the center. Vela close as well. And a big opportunity missed for LAFC in the 71st minute.
Wow. It's so a 2-0 scoreline is just such a tricky scoreline too. Even if you're Columbus, defensively standing on their heads right now with LAFC having a couple of opportunities. If LAFC gets a goal here, the pressure, the dynamic, the momentum really switches quick, Josh. With 20 minutes left in the match plus some change, anything could happen still in this game. It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
And keep in mind, last year's match was, a lot more back and forth. You had the first half goal from Acosta. It was tied up in the 59th, and then after the 80th minute, when Murillo gave LAFC a brief advantage in the 83rd. It just kept going back and forth. It seemed like every goal that was scored, the other team came back with a response right away. And LAFC, of course, can't let that happen, Brian, but they've got to get one in the back of the net first. Right now, it's Columbus with a chance. Nagbe's shot goes well off the mark towards the right side. Forgive me, that was Cucho Hernández. And it'll be a goal kick for Schulte.
Guys, make sure to hit like if you're enjoying the stream. Comment. Let's see where you're tuning in from. Usually we have some international viewers, Josh. I don't know about this time around. I know in the past we've had quite a few. So definitely comment if you're tuning from wherever, stateside, international. It's the MLS Cup Final, so it does get a pretty big audience, I'm sure, especially with the Apple package this year and people from all around the world watching and tuning in for the first time.
Yeah, and that's something that we have not talked about just yet, that the change of the MLS landscape as a finesse shot from Bouanga goes into the waiting arms of Schulte. That's his first shot on goal of the match. Bouanga, the Golden Boot winner in the MLS in 2023. But, one of the reasons I feel like I was so behind on MLS this year is because I didn't have an Apple TV Plus subscription. Brian, how do you think that changed the landscape of the MLS in 2023?
You're just saying from a fan perspective?
Yeah.
It changed it for sure. I think that, I have a couple friends of mine who are passive MLS supporters, and frankly, they didn't get the subscription. They didn't watch this year. But I think if the staunch supporters, those who are really into it, those who are season ticket holders, they're going to get the subscription. But I do think you alienate some fans. I don't know necessarily if it's the best thing, but also teaming up with Apple isn't a bad thing either. So it's still shaking out. We'll have to see. I think it's early to say with this Apple package whether it's good or bad for MLS.
First year of a 10-year contract, and if you didn't have the Apple TV subscription, you'll miss a lot of what just happened. Denis Bouanga getting himself in a one-on-one with a goalkeeper. They've got the replay coming up here. Some mistakes passing from the Columbus crew. Murillo getting a nice dispossession and then getting his assist in back-to-back MLS Cup finals. Bouanga kicks one into Schulte, gets his own rebound, and halves the lead for LAFC. 2-1 the score, and that might have been the biggest goal of the match from the Golden Boot winner, Denis Bouanga.
I'm ecstatic, Josh, honestly. I just, not necessarily either one of these teams aren't my team personally, but we want to see a good match. So 2-1, this is what we're talking about. And all of a sudden, the dynamic of this game changes entirely. Really, I would love to be a fly on the wall right now in Columbus and just see the reaction from the fans here. So comment what the fans, if it's loud, if it's quiet down in Columbus Stadium, I'd be interested to know.
Well, they just showed a reaction on the goal as Patrick Schulte, still down for the Columbus Crew. I think he got hit in the head by that first shot by Bouanga. Certainly got a missile off of his body from close range. Wow. And Schulte being checked out by the trainers right now. They did, however, just show a live reaction from an LA bar, and you saw a lot of drinks being thrown in the air and a whole lot of jumping up and down for joy by fans rocking the black and gold. And there you see the replay again. Bouanga, I don't know if Schulte is just shaken up or upset with himself, because you see on the replay, the ball went in between his two hands, knocked off of his thumb, and hit the side of his face, right on the jawbone, it looked like, before Bouanga tapped the rebound into the net and made it 2-1 LAFC.
You hate to see this happen, but could this be the second year in a row that a goalkeeper is removed from the match, mid-match?
You have the backup goalie for the Columbus Crew getting himself loose right now. Should be Evan Bush, who is getting ready, as there are 3 goalkeepers on the Columbus squad. Brady Scott is the third, and he did not appear in a single match this season. Crew faithful look like they're getting behind their keeper, as Schulte seems primed to stay in.
I know John McCarthy last season coming in for LAFC. That's a hard position, tough position to be in as a backup goalkeeper in a cup final, Josh. You just said we were just, and hopefully we didn't, jinx Schulte, because we just said he played in every single match this season for Columbus. And here we are, the dramatics. So for anyone who said this is a boring match, take it back, delete your Twitter comment, because, this is heating up right now.
And a surprising substitution by Steve Cherundolo. Kellen Acosta taken out in the 75th minute, replaced by Filip Krastev, the Bulgarian international, who has come on 9 times as a substitution, 1 goal in 7 shots during the regular season. And with a guy like Acosta, hard to see him coming out of a match. But what do you think Cherundolo have in mind there?
Yeah. But, obviously an attacking substitution here. They're going for it. LAFC and Cherundolo are going for it right now. Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this substitutes Bulgarian's very, very athletic. So I think this would be a big match, a big substitution here.
That's 2 substitutions for LAFC. If you bet the over, then you won. Over, according to ESPN Bet, was 2.5 goals. We have 3 now. I know I'm not big on all those betting stuff, but I know some people are. Vela makes a pass to the right side, trying to find Oliveira, but it goes out of bounds. And it's stopped, saved back in by Columbus almost. Nagbe now in control, sending it to Rossi on the 5 side. 2 on the score, Columbus in the lead after the Bouanga goal. Now it's Rossi again, sending it towards Nagbe in the middle of the field. And something that we saw from Acosta, who's now been taken out. Darlington Nagbe has been the focal point of the Crew attack, and Cucho Hernández sends a shot wide. Murillo gets him on a slide tackle, and that might be a penalty as well.
Is it?
I'll see. They're still deciding. No motion for the penalty box, and we see the replay right here. Little bit of contact made on a slide from Murillo. It was after the shot. That'll be a tough, at this point in the game, that would be a tough call for a penalty. Hernandez wants one, but it looks like it's just going to be a corner kick, as Murillo did touch the ball. That's corner kick number 8 of the match for the Columbus Crew. It's Rossi on the short corner once again.
Most definitely not a penalty there on that. It looks like Cucho got the shot off right beforehand, not really denying goal-scoring opportunities. So not a good call.
Yeah, it was just one of those. The leg was one of the legs was a tiny bit up in the air for Murillo, and it just made contact with Cucho on the follow through, and it was clear that Murillo was looking to stop the shot, which he did. And now it is ball to the Crew. Man down inside the penalty box, no call, and the Crew just playing right with it.
Dramatics,
towards the
Josh.
middle.
I just feel something dramatic on hand here. I just,
I'm getting that feeling in my stomach that something's going to happen.
I'm kind of nervous. I don't know why. I mean, we're just having fun. It's a stream, but I'm nervous right now. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think I've been this nervous since the NYCFC or the first MLS Cup match we did. Oh my goodness, I was on the edge of my seat that entire match. For those of you who don't know, I worked with New York City FC for 2 years while I still lived in New York City back in 2017 and 2018, the inaugural seasons of Maxi Morales, final year of Andrea Pirlo for one of them. And that was a really fun and totally not biased call here on the State of Soccer Watch Along. I was definitely even keel.
Since, it was tough that season too, as a Union supporter, looking back on the COVID situation. That's all I'll say. It's well-deserved by NYCFC to beat Portland on the road, but it's tough being a Union fan that season.
Whenever I brought this game up with him, which is all the time, he said something like that. He's still not over it, even if Philly got their revenge in the playoffs next year.
Yeah, exactly. They did get their revenge, but an LAFC, of course, handling Philly last season. So let's see if LAFC can do it again, if they can tie it up, if they can force extra time, and anything is possible.
And right now, they're looking at an injury. It was Yeboah, who looked like being helped off the field. He had a goal in the match already and has been a part of some of the most dangerous attacks for Columbus, that goal included, as he is limping off the field. No substitution called for just yet. There was a collision with him at the top of the 18-yard box with the center back on LAFC, Jesus Murillo. No card, no penalty, but temporarily Columbus is playing with 10 men as Yeboah is checked out on the sideline. The hope is he'll be back on the pitch soon. And Columbus has not used a substitution yet, so plenty of leeway to do so. But as this is the Cup final, no one's going to want to come off the pitch.
No, and especially not Yeboah after scoring that goal here early on, and just a really athletic player, defender, and just a guy who's really standing out in this match. So it'd be a shame to see him go off.
And I think if Columbus wins this match, Yeboah is my player of the match for sure. Obviously, a lot of things can change. Still about 8 minutes plus extra time in this second half. But we want to hear what you guys think. LAFC fans, Crew fans, sound off. Who do you think? What has been the best player for each side as Yeboah's night will officially be done? Hopefully, it's not a serious injury, but Yeboah coming off of the pitch for the Columbus Crew, coming on to replace him, Yevhen Sheberko.
Sheberko coming on here. And the Polish Sean Zawadzki, I believe, Polish player coming on for Nagbe.
Sheberko, a Ukraine international. Nagbe, another guy who has got to be one of the stars of the match today. He was a guy who just always seemed to have the ball at his feet and making things happen for the Crew on offense. So Yeboah seems to be walking around fine. He will come off for Sheberko. Darlington Nagbe is off as well for the Columbus Crew. Likely 2 defensive substitutions for Columbus as well, as they've got time on their side right now.
They've got time, but defensive substitutions, these guys got to come in, plug the hole, and be ready to play because LAFC is on the attack right now.
And that attack for LAFC is about to get a whole lot more urgent. They're staring down the barrel of losing this match against the Columbus Crew.
Ooh.
And a close call at the front of the net. But that ball sent away by Crépeau would have been a potentially game-sealing goal if Crépeau had not gotten there in time. And a foul is going to be called on LAFC. Shouldn't be a card, but Diego Palacios got tied up with Rossi, and it will be a card. 4th yellow card of the match for LAFC. And Brian, he was really holding that right arm of Cucho Hernández.
He was holding that right arm, and got to be careful this late in this match. But Josh, I want to say it again. Guys, we want to see some comments for dying minutes of the match here. We're 85th minute. Comment, who do you think is going to take this one home? 5 minutes left, 2-1 scoreline. What are your thoughts right now? Let's get some interaction going.
And the Columbus Crew are really just trying to waste time. 2 substitutions again.
Yeah.
Coming on for Cucho Hernández will be the American Julian Gressel. Mohamed Farsi will be taken off. And coming on for him, the former member of LAFC, Christian Ramirez.
Yeah, Josh. And is this a curtain call for Cucho Hernández in this match, or is it too early to say? I mean, you got to be honest, these substitutions, having Gressel come on here late in the match, Ramirez come on, these are good players too. So it's not like these are some schleps of subs. These are good substitutes here for Columbus.
I'm really glad that Christian Ramirez is getting a shot in the MLS Cup Final against his former team. I mean, he's on the Columbus Crew, where they have 2 of the best attackers in the MLS. Just doesn't seem to be room for him in that number 9 spot that he likes. But you give a guy $10 million, he's going to play the position that he wants. So Ramirez needing to come off the bench and hoping to make an impact for Columbus as they try and keep their 1-goal lead alive in the dying 5 minutes of this match. And Diego Rossi is down. So more substitutions to come for LAFC. Coming on for the black and gold, Mario Gonzalez and Sergi Palencia.
Wow.
Diego Palacios looks like he's coming off. Ilie Sanchez racing off as well. That is 4 substitutions for each side now. They will have 1 left in the MLS Cup Final, in which we are in the 87th minute.
Josh, players going down left and right. I know it's a rainy night in Columbus, so it's just getting physical, very physical here at the dying minutes of this match.
And that's what you got to expect. LAFC really being at the center of that physicality, because frankly, they don't have much of a choice. They need to win. They need another goal to keep this match alive. Columbus is just trying to play slow possession football as Crapeau gets the back pass from Chiellini. He'll send a goal kick up the center of the pitch.
What do you think? Do I put the headband back on? Do you think it'll be a good luck charm here?
I mean, they scored with you taking it off, so I don't know. But, I mean, you might as well – I think we want something exciting these last couple of matches.
Right, I'm gonna
put
it on here. Vertical Athletics headband here for the dying minutes.
And you almost were putting that on during a goal, but Diego Rossi's shot misses the net to the left side of it. I was so ready for you to be putting that headband on as the match-stealing shot ran in. Great play down the wings for Columbus Crew, though. A nice low pass chipped by Rossi. And that pass coming from Matan. But Rossi just missing on the chip.
Just missing. Josh, it's always fun to see the viewers start to climb at the dying minutes of these streams. So, guys, hit like, comment where you're tuning in from. What are your thoughts? Good to have you here on State of Soccer, as always. But, yeah, this started off as kind of a boring match. All of a sudden, it's gotten very exciting here towards the end.
Yeah, 2-1 is the score. Columbus has been in control since the 33rd minute. A Cucho Hernández penalty kick. He has since taken a rest on the bench. And now 1 goal has been scored since then. Yaboa right now has the decisive goal. He scored the second. He's also on the bench right now. Chance for LAFC. Schulte is knocked into, and Chiellini does not want to get a card. He was diving for the ball, as was Schulte. And the 39-year-old center back is upset with the referee calling the foul, but as they should, the refs protecting their goalie there.
Josh, we're going to see at least 5 minutes of stoppage time in this one. I really think with all these substitutes, players down, Chiellini is definitely upset on that one.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like he realized that Schulte had the ball until he accidentally collided with him. Shouldn't be a card. And I don't think that they're going to give him one.
Yeah, here's the replay once more. Let's see here. We're going to get an indication pretty soon of how much stoppage time is left in this one. It's going to determine everything in 2-1 scoreline.
I would guess, I'd say 6 or 7 minutes based on everything that's gone on, but we will see not too long, as it looks like
Just
there is a substitution
momentarily.
ready for Columbus. Coming off is Diego Rossi. Kevin Molino will replace him, and Rossi has been involved in almost every attacking play for the Columbus Crew. Unfortunately, he's been the target of a couple fouls as well.
Yellow card for the Crew. Josh, what do we have here? Stoppage time.
+7
Plus
is the
7.
stoppage time. So plenty of time for LAFC to even this up as the Crew keep it inside. Slide tackle missed by one of the newer members of Black and Gold, Palencia. And a couple of guys getting tangled up on the sideline. Christian Hernandez and Palencia with their legs tangled on the near sideline. Foul going to be called on Palencia for a far free kick.
It is getting dicey right now out there. Weather is not helping too.
No. I mean,
Rain's
there are
coming
a lot of these slide tackles you got to think are aided by the rain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's a rainy one in Columbus. So can LAFC do it on I keep saying this, on a rainy night in Columbus? Let's see. 2-1 down.
That
7
sounds
minutes
like a
stoppage
movie or a
time.
book or something, though. But we'll see if LA can make that Hollywood ending here. Down by 1 goal in stoppage time. 91 minutes, about 6 more to go. Crew up by 1, and LAFC has not gotten a chance since that Bouanga goal.
No, they haven't. And
They're
big-time
clean chance
players.
anyway.
I was going to say, Josh, big-time players step up in big-time moments. So who's it going to be?
And we know LAFC has that. They still have 1 substitution up their sleeve should they care to use it. But LAFC running out of time. Aaron Long, the most notable name on the bench for LAFC, but I doubt a defensive substitution will be made when LAFC is down. Some commotion inside the 18-yard box. A couple of Crew players fall to the carpet, and no one is charged with a foul. Here come the Black and Gold. Vela shaking defenders, going up the middle. He finally gets knocked down. It's Gressel who is closest to him, and he'll be shown a yellow card.
Oof.
Or, sorry, that was Aiden Morris getting the yellow. Gressel was nearby as well, but a free kick. LAFC really trying to speed things up, and they show a replay of something that might have been missed. Attempted tackle by Jesus Murillo on Molino, kicking the back leg, and then Palencia knocking down Molino.
Dangerous opportunity.
Free kick sent in, knocked out of bounds, and that should be a goal kick. Almost 4 minutes exactly remaining in stoppage time. Columbus on the cusp of spoiling LAFC's attempt at repeat. What do you guys think of the match? We want to hear what you guys hear in the comments. If you think LAFC can bring it home, get 1 more goal, if the Crew are going to just hold on here, we certainly don't know what happens. We want to see if you guys do, so make sure to tell us in the comments.
You said that in a way as if we know what happens.
We don't. I don't know anything.
No.
People might think with a headband on that you know something that we don't, but
I don't know. I put it on for a reason.
Yeah. That's just for our very generous friends over at Vertical Athletic. Make sure to visit their website and use SOSTV at checkout for a special discount code. You can get a headband just like the one Brian is showing up on his camera right now. And I must say, those are really beautiful headbands.
They are beautiful, Josh. All MLS teams are available, so check out in the description. 10% off with SOSTV as the code. But looks like, Josh, here we are in the 90+5 right now, so time is running out for LAFC.
And Sergi Palencia, another collision with Kevin Molino. This time a foul is called. Looks like a clear case of tripping from behind. But Palencia was going for the ball, and man, is he heated. You can tell that LAFC wants this match to continue. To do that, they need a goal. If not, in 2 minutes, the Columbus Crew will be crowned champions for the first time in 3 years, almost to the day. December 12th, 2020, a COVID championship. The MLS's back tournament that year as well. Columbus winning their second MLS title, and they're mere minutes away from their third. LAFC with the ball deep in their defensive zone. Hollingshead still in, sending the ball forward as the midfield of LAFC turning the ball around to try and find some open players. Palencia has been quite active since coming off the bench, sends it forward. Bouanga turns and has some space. Here comes Denis Bouanga, Golden Boot winner. Double covered, knocked off the defense, but he'll control towards the corner flag. He shades it out of bounds. It won't be a corner kick. Columbus wants possession, but Bouanga will be the man to throw it in. And they're doing it quickly. Bouanga really trying to attack. He's been incredibly aggressive in the second half, and he's dispossessed. Tackled by Palencia. No foul call. Shot off the mark. It's deflected. And now it's cleared away by Columbus. A minute and 20 seconds left in the MLS Cup. Columbus Crew on the cusp of their third championship. LA needs a goal to send it to extra time. 1 minute left as the ball is sent all the way forward by Crepeau. Bouanga has his pass deflected. The Crew now taking the ball with some space. Here comes Columbus. 3-on-2 fast break with a trailer. Man goes down, and advantage will be played. Here comes Columbus, right side. Trying to fight towards the corner flag. The Crew trying to keep the ball in. It goes out of bounds. Who will get possession? Christian Ramirez, the former LAFC player, doing the hard work in that corner flag, keeping the ball in for Columbus.
Yep. That's why he was brought on, Josh. Exactly like this. Very physical player, keeping possession.
6'2", 185, and that 185 seems a bit light for Ramirez. He is well built, as it looks like it's a corner kick for the Crew. Short corner, and it'll be a battle on the corner flag. LAFC quickly wins it. Last attack in the dying minutes of the ball game. We are in +7. The next whistle will likely end the match. Ball deflected off the Crew, and LAFC can't get possession, and that is it. The whistle blows, yellow jerseys falling to the floor as on a rainy night in Columbus, the Columbus Crew take a 2-1 victory over LAFC, their first title in 3 years, their third overall, third most in MLS history for one of the first franchises to start in Major League Soccer. The Columbus Crew are the MLS Cup champions in 2023. Brian, a bit of a slow game. Certainly a match that was in was in Columbus's control for much of it. But Columbus ended up hanging on in what ended up a really, really solid match.
Ended up being a solid match, Josh. You know, we saw 2 goals in the first half for Columbus. Definitely just had complete and utter control. I felt like LAFC was knocking on the door here in the second half. You know, if we played 120 minutes of soccer in this one, I think they would have scored to equalize here. But 2-1 is the scoreline, well-deserved, at home. The favorites going into this one end up winning, which isn't always typical in these MLS Cup finals. But really, their game plan from Wilfred Nancy. We talked a lot about Trundle going into this one, but you got to put some respect on that man's name because really, Columbus played fantastic. They really did.
Cucho Hernández getting the first goal in the penalty kick. On the penalty kick, it was back in the 3rd minute. 4 minutes later, a spectacular run from Yaboa ended up sealing the deal for Columbus, but Denis Bouanga, the Golden Boot winner, got on the board late in the match. And, I mean, there was action going on, a very physical game. What a match from both sides. And, of course, we had a prediction of the match. Etch-a-Sketch 11 said Cucho Hernández going to win this cup for the Crew. That's not something we created to make ourselves sound smart. It was the second comment of the day, and he was right. Cucho Hernández got the first goal. 1 goal was the smallest lead after that for Columbus. That came on after the Bouanga goal. But, Ryan, what did you like the most from this match out of Columbus?
It's just the Columbus Crew, right? It's in their name. It's in their brand. Hard-nosed, blue-collar club, original 96, Major League Soccer, and they played like it tonight. They really just grinded out LAFC, capitalized when they needed to. And I was shocked, honestly, with LAFC, Los Angeles Football Club's level of intensity in the first half. And it just seemed like there was something missing in that final third. Just Columbus Crew supporters should be proud of their team because they really put a big one in, massive win, third MLS Cup title in their storied career or history here. So big night.
And I think you got to say the same sort of thing for LAFC. Obviously, their fans, their team would have liked the result to be a little different, but you got to respect a second consecutive year being in the Cup Finals. They've been playing with the targets on their backs all season long, and LAFC really fought to the end tonight.
They fought to the end. It's exactly right. I mean, Steve Trollandolo obviously has them fighting it match in and match out. A team that lost in a couple Cup Finals this year. CONCACAF Champions League Cup Final against Lyon, now against Columbus. It's a tough season in terms of no cups for LAFC. But they still need to pat themselves on the back and come ready to play next season. They'll be back. It's Los Angeles Football Club. But MLS keeps getting stronger year in and year out, and the parity remains, and it's hard. It's just very tough to win this league, as we saw tonight.
And we also, what is obviously unbeknownst to all of us, I mean, no one really is going to know what happens. We saw that in the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes over the last couple of days, all that craziness getting on, which I certainly don't have time to get into. But this loss could complicate or improve the future for LAFC. You don't know if Chiellini and Vela are going to want to come run it back and their career with the black and gold on a championship. Vela especially has already been linked to some transfer rumors, and he's been the only captain in LAFC history. How do you think this final affects the decisions of Vela maybe looking to get back in a Power 5 and Chiellini maybe just ready to hang him up?
It's complex, Josh, because Chiellini's 39 years old. Vela's 34. Vela, any LAFC supporter will tell you, I mean, he's been their captain, their MVP since the start of their franchise. But he's also a guy who, his twilight years are amongst him in his football career. And he's a guy who's had a lot of success on the field, and I could see him leaving it behind, but I also could see him transferring somewhere else. To be seeing him in Liga MX. I don't see him going anywhere else in MLS, if I'm being frank. But it's going to be interesting to see. And Chiellini, it just depends. Is he hungry? He already, he won one with LAFC last year. He's in the Cup Final this year. Does he want more? Does he want to come back, or does he go to his boyhood club in Italy? We'll have to see. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
If I had to guess, I don't think Chiellini's done. I mean, just watching him in this match today, he was jawing at everyone. He was, arguing with the refs at points. He was really invested in trying to get this win for LAFC. Only reason that I know he's 39 years old is because it says so on the roster. Like, he's not a guy that really plays his age. Vela either, but, I mean, you look at the MLS, we've already seen guys who are entering the twilight stage of their career not only just use MLS as kind of a last shot to get back into Europe, i.e. Zlatan Ibrahimovic going to AC Milan after his strong but short tenure over at LA Galaxy. But, I mean, Lionel Messi could have played at any club on the planet. He got offered probably $1 billion to go to Saudi Arabia, but ended up signing with Inter Miami. So Vela might want to stay with a fan base that loves him LA. He might want to go back to Mexico. He might want to see what he can do in one of the world's top leagues. We just don't know. But it's certainly going to be an interesting January transfer window when it comes to the MLS as well.
Yeah, and it's tough. After you win a Cup Final, as if I'm talking from experience here, I'm sure, that's not your first thought, right? These guys, their heads are running a mile a minute right now, and they're thinking, they're going to get back to Los Angeles. They're upset. They're disappointed. They're disheartened. Then you start talking to your agent. Then you have those conversations with your family, and then you have to take a step back and decide what you're going to do. Like I said, Carlos Vela is a complex, all these players are complex human beings. They're footballers. They're at the top of their game. But a guy like him, I don't know if he has, people will say this too, does he have the hunger or the passion still? That's always been a critique from the Mexican supporters. We've seen him at the top level in MLS, but to go back to Europe at a top league, I don't know if I see that from him. he could very well stay put or go to Liga MX. That's what I think we'll probably see.
I mean, personally for me, I'm in the same boat as you. With the amount of love and support he's seen from LAFC, literally, bringing this team from the bottom to a championship last year as their captain, playing a key role in those finals and the playoffs. I mean, everything he has done. He certainly has nothing left to prove at LAFC. The only thing that might change that is if he goes back to Mexico to be home for his final couple of seasons as a pro soccer player.
And that's the thing, right? I mean, I know how I would end my career if I was a pro footballer. It would be pretty nice to go home, to play at your childhood club, to make that move, be amongst your people. But there's also that dynamic relationship with the LAFC supporters too, right? And that Mexican-American heritage that's in Los Angeles and those fans. And I'm sure he does feel like he's at home in LA as well. So it's, it's interesting to see. It's an amazing thing Los Angeles Football Club has built. So let's see if they can come back next season, and let's see if Columbus can keep steaming ahead. I mean, that's really incredible, just finishing third in the East and grinding one out here. And I think they have a star in Wilfred Nancy as a coach. I really do.
And one last question before we head home tonight. We've talked a lot about the potentials of maybe transfers with LAFC, but they were the losing side in this match. I mean, not enough credit can be given to really everyone on LAFC. Yeah. Yaya Boa, not one of these highly touted names on this side, hadn't scored a playoff goal until today, and he maybe scored the nicest one, definitely the nicest one of the entire finals, but one of the best goals I think I've seen all playoffs. He had a fantastic match. Darlington Nagbe was great in the middle of the field. How does Columbus respond to try and do like LAFC did this year and give themselves a shot at becoming the first team to repeat since the Galaxy?
I mean, I'm looking at this crew, pun intended, this Columbus crew of players, and I don't know necessarily, Josh, they need to do much else. I mean, I think that, you grow into this role, these players will step up. I mean, off the bench to have Christian Ramirez, to have Julian Gressel. I mean, those are two really good players that would start elsewhere in MLS. I mean, they're a deep team, and I'm surprised to see that. I obviously followed the crew this season, but you forget how deep that squad really is. Of course, contractually speaking, I'm sure there's players that they're going to have to work with this season. There's rumors of a fourth DP spot in MLS. We'll see if that happens. I'm not sure if that will. That could really change the landscape as well. But for now, Columbus, there isn't much they need to do. If anything else, I mean, Cucho up top with Rossi, maybe you bolster even more of an attack, but I think they're in a good spot.
Yeah, certainly a lot to decide. We'll definitely have some more content through MLS and the rest of the top 5 European leagues all around the world. The place for soccer is right here on this channel, State of Soccer. Definitely hit that subscribe button. To the guys who were commenting all game long, to the guys who were listening, we really appreciate you guys. And of course, Brian, thank you so much again for letting me be a part of this. It's been so awesome to see just the growth of this MLS Cup watch along and everything that we've done here at State of Soccer so far. And I'm excited to do even more in the coming year and even longer than that.
I mean, it's always great to have you on, Josh. True professional. Sometimes I just take a step back, let the man talk, let him do his craft, because sometimes I feel like I get in the way when you're on these broadcasts. You do a tremendous job. So it's always really good to have you on here, calling, the play-by-play.
Well, it's a pleasure to work with you. I definitely don't feel like you're stepping on my calls or whatever it is. I certainly love being in a virtual booth with you, as it were, through these watch-alongs, and hope to do it many, many more times in the upcoming year. But big thanks, of course, to Brian, our fearless leader. Definitely follow State of Soccer. Link to our social medias in the bio. And, of course, you can subscribe to us right here on this YouTube channel if you watch. My name is Josh Sperber. Thank you all for tuning in, because as great as Brian is, you guys in the comments, you guys watching the streams are what makes this channel great. So we really appreciate you guys for tuning in for another MLS Cup watch along. We'll have one again next year's time. Wherever both of us will be for that one is still to be determined. But, we'll definitely be back for a 4th annual next year, and we'll have plenty more soccer content coming up. So for Brian McDonough, for myself, Josh Sperber, for all of us here at State of Soccer, have a happy holiday season. For those of you who celebrate, happy Hanukkah, and have a fantastic new year in 2024. And we'll have plenty more content for you coming up for the rest of 2023 and 2024 as well. Thank you guys again, and have a great weekend.